I'm just gonna talk. Can we do that? Is that illegal? Is that allowed? Can I even do that? Can we just hang out, you guys? I don't have a favorite. I don't know the my name official. Don't have questions, but Pog. Boxes or briefs? I mean, it feels weird because I'm used to always listening to music, but I thought about doing something like this and then exporting to YouTube. Why do I have such a? It's pretty average, Gillian. Some Righteous Fire. I think Righteous Fire is pretty good with the new Vitality. Carrion Jolum. I think you're better off going other stuff. And yo, we didn't need to link that setting. But I think Carrion Jolums and Jolum builds in general need like a lot of cluster jewel, not cluster jewels, sorry, just a lot of jewels to be like pretty decent. So fine if you're playing trade, not that good if you're soft core. TR Mines, yeah, go TR Mines and follow Tuna's guide. He knows what's up. He knows more than I do. Advice for POV: if you're getting a crash, just try reinstalling it. That's usually what fixes it for me. You still have your files and stuff, I believe. Any point in playing SSF if you're not trying to win any point of competition? Increasing the longevity of a league is probably the best thing. I usually burn myself out getting Headhunter, and if I don't like the league mechanic, like in Harvest, then it's just like, what am I even playing for? I get like 40x in a few days, and then why even bother? Like, what's the point of the 40x if I don't enjoy the league? Favorite anime? That'd be A Silent Voice. Reinstalling POB didn't work. Shit. Sorry, man. Hopefully someone else can help you out. I'm reading the new season of Solo Leveling, of course, man. I haven't caught up though. Just the chapter with best girl joining the guild. You see some nudity. You already see enough of my chest hair. See, there's one of them right there. You can see it. Is Fireball, Ignite, Trickster okay enough? If there's a way to solve a single target, yeah. From a league starter to 100x investment sort of playstyle, what's best? Essence Drain, Toxic Rain, Miner, Skelly, Specters. Out of all those work as a league starter to 100x. As far as what feels the absolute best, you can do pretty much all the content in the game with all of those. So play whichever one you enjoy the most. Should be most about what you enjoy. Poison BV, go Caustic Arrow, Toxic Rain. Toxic Rain Mines probably as an assassin going like poison, I guess. I mean, maybe you don't go to mines if you're poison, but and then you switch off at 38 is what people tell me. You level a Spellslinger or Blade Blast with poison. I don't know. I can't answer that because I just don't know. Best way to level a Jolomancer. I would have said Spellslinger and then respec, but now it's probably gonna be just like the regular Elementalist Armageddon Brand Cremation build. You just copy any of my POBs on my character. They're all public. Is Ball Lightning Mine's Riff or not? Ball Lightning's not like BTFO'd, but it's pretty much just worse than some other skills. What's a good leveling skill for Jardian? Depends on what you're gonna play as Jardian. You could play I think Zizern has a guide on that actually. Favorite PoE streamer? Don't think I have one. I like a lot of PoE streamers. Maybe Alkaiser. Alkaiser would probably be my favorite PoE streamer. Pro tips on leveling a Marauder / Berserker. Follow what Fight Guard did in the recent melee race. Most profitable on average endgame boss day 2 to 3. Awakener is like something you can spawn without too much effort. Like you'll just run maps and you'll kill Awakener 8. If you can get to him really quickly. Like study what people do on this upcoming Awakener 8 race and copy what they do. I mean, it's really just, there's a whole Reddit thread about it. So the TLDR for people who don't know, you run the outside regions and get all the watchstones from the outside. You put one stone in the inside at some point, usually around the time you get your third watchstone. Then you just collect maps for that, and then you just run a bunch of maps. You will instantly spawn your Conqueror like very quickly, and you'll collect the next 4 stones. At some point, usually around your second or third stone, you could do it right off the bat if you wanted to. Put another region on the inside with 2 stones, run all that, put another region with 3 stones on the inside, another region on the inside with 4, should have 20, spawn Awakener or whatever. Maybe you have to do, I don't think you have to do 1 outside. Then you put 4 stones in 1 or 2 of the outside regions, and you spawn 3 Conquerors there, 1 Conqueror and somewhere else, fight Awakener, keep doing that all the way to Awakener, so. Yep, yeah, exactly, Batman. How was my practice run? We actually finished it, I'm surprised. I actually survived. We ended at 0 at 346, as you can see. But we actually found a midnight before we found a sacrifice at noon. And I did it without dying because it was in hardcore SSF. It was a pretty okay run. I think someone else will probably kill it faster though, to be honest, so. If you can't load my loot filter because it has an invalid sound, you didn't download the sound files in my Discord as well. I'll be changing my league tier list. It's already on Twitter. The new one's out. I know it looks like it's a new one because, or it looks like the old one because it's got like 100 plus likes, but exclamation mark Twitter by the way. No, it's just it's a new one. It's made for heist. So favorite skill to start with for leveling, like currently or like in general? Because currently I think the new meta is pretty good. If Armageddon brand cremation, but like you can't do much other than like level with it. Will the filters be updated for 3.12? I actually spent like 10 hours working on the filters in Filter Blade so that they could be, so you could use them in, like they would auto update. Can I do a Templar run? Quantric has a few Templar runs, I think, on his Twitch. Quantric, spelled Quantrik. Quantric? Country of origin? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, no problem, Beast. If I Yell as a chest with enhanced 4, get quality. Oh, that's just a statement. That's not a question. That's why. XL was at Zero's door at 3:06 yesterday, but died. Yeah, I had a run where I had adrenaline, and I was going to do it Zeri at like 3:10, but I didn't drop at midnight, so it ended up being like a 3:50 at Zeri. Honestly, like as long as nobody else is pushing at Zeri, if I can farm Vol side areas and stuff for XP, I'm okay with that. Because every run so far where I farm Vol side areas, I haven't really died on at Zeri because I've been much higher level, much better gear. But most of the runs where I like auto drop at midnight, like in the Metamorph race, for example, where I just dropped at midnight without farming anything, I usually die. So I think Totem Lance versus Self Cast Lance. I think you should play whichever playstyle you want. The lancing skill is actually in a really cool spot because like even if it's bad, you could always just switch over to another skill, right? So, what do you think about the new gem reveals? No clue. Unless you mean like the alternate qualities, I have no idea because I haven't read them. The new gems are cool though. TR slash Caustic Arrow Trickster. You use both. Use Caustic Arrow for clear and use Toxic Rain for single target. In early acts, you use Toxic Rain, Swift Assembly, and Blast Chain Mine for single target. Where can you find my loot filters? Exclamation mark Discord. I've also got a YouTube guide on how to do it. If it's confusing, yeah, no problem. Is Righteous Fire League Start viable now? Possibly. I'm probably not going to do a Righteous Fire run, maybe ever, but you can definitely do it. I think with the new vitality changes, it makes it workable. Righteous Fire was actually changed like 2 or 3 leagues ago, I think, to have like flat fire damage as well. So seems like Poison BV will be played by a lot of people. Yeah, I think Poison BV is a really strong build. So best starter for Hierophant, going BV Archmage later. Probably be. I would have said Ball Lightning, but I don't think that's the case anymore. You could watch maybe some Rise VODs or some Quantric VODs, like I said earlier. Hard level GC Miner. Yes, usual Orbistorm, Stormblast Mine. Go Arc Mines like maybe X4 or 6. I actually really like just using Orbistorms and Stormblast Mine all the way up through X6, and then on X6 I switch off to Arc Mines. Those are perfectly fine to get your BA, you know, you could farm all the way to maps, and you don't really need to go GC until later on anyways. Ball Lightning or GC? GC probably. How do you get the first Awakener 8 kill if you've never killed Awakener before? Study a lot. I did a lot of studying Waggle's run. I learned a decent bit actually. He said it was scuffed, but he did a lot of stuff that I wouldn't do, and I think it's pretty knowledgeable. How do I swap skills in my gear so fast? I just click at it. If I look at it for 1 frame, I instantly know what it is. There's some sort of trick that remembers where skills are placed. It's a lot easier when you do more and more runs. You know, I make it look really easy, but in all actuality, it's just because, you know, I've done a run every day for I don't know how long. And so it's just like, you know, I just like look around and I'm like, oh, that's where that is. That's where that is, you know. So it just kind of makes sense after lots of runs. Is Corvalash the best skill ever put in the game? No. Is BS Mines a trap? What's BS? I don't know what BS is. Am I getting a haircut soon? Probably not. I like the length of my hair. Instead of going to like a salon or something, I've considered getting like an actual barber and having them like just clean up my hair. I thought about cutting my own hair, but I'd probably just go bald after I embarrass myself. DPI setting on my mouse, 1600. Blazing Salvo, that's right. Yeah, like the thing with like Blazing Salvo or like Glacial Cascade mines or, you know, the lightning one, Crackling Lightning is, you know, you play one of those mines and like, you know, it turns out it's bad. Well, you could just play something else, right? There are plenty other mines, plenty other totems as well. Is Lightning Trap leveling good or bad? It's pretty good. That's why it's on the tier list. Stormbrand Assassin, a viable league starter. Recommend you start as Orb of Storms and like Wave of Lightning, something. Just went to get milk for a 3:30 bowl of cereal. Pretty good time. Overall, I think your efficiency could be a little bit better though. I think you're probably losing the most time getting the spoon, would be my opinion. Level is Toxic Rain, Caustic Arrow, Assassin until maps, and switch to other poison builds. You could do that, sure, why not? Do you have any BV poison assassin runs on YouTube? I do not. I wanted to work on one, but I had to practice for this race coming up. I stream tomorrow. Well, whenever his heist is live, yeah, sure. How do I prepare for a league start outside of the game? Usually I prepare for some food, make sure I get a good night's sleep. Common strategy that people mistake for being good is they'll stock up on Red Bull, stock up on really unhealthy snacks, but that sort of stuff leads you to crash. You're much better off eating like healthy food, things that'll give you a lot of energy like chicken breast. Best supportability and why is it cast on crit? Yeah, I can't argue with that. I think going discharge, league start is viable. I'd recommend you start as like Orb Storms or something else, just to make your leveling experience better because you won't have that many charges. How many hours am I online before league start? Before I would have said like just 1 or 2, but now I think probably 3. Probably 3, and I can answer questions up until then or something. Just because the last few times it's actually gotten like super early. I think Bleebo Gladiator would be a good league start build. I do. Gladiator in particular has a very weird thing where like leveling it feels really comfy, it feels really smooth until you look at the time and realize that it's slower than all the other builds that you could basically play. But overall the experience is pretty smooth. It starts to like fall down in this like mid game of like yellow and red maps. Until you get an ID3 Elder Bow, you craft your Elder mod, and then all of a sudden the build feels really, really good. So if you're not able to play like a whole bunch and get like an ID3 bow, then probably not the best build for you. But if you're also just playing for the early game, then it's a pretty chill build. I recommend 3 Link for Lightning Trap and Balsing skill. Um, I can't say with confidence what that would be, just because I haven't played Lightning Trap in probably over like a year and a half, but it hasn't changed at all, so still perfectly fine. Best mine skills this league. I think that there are plenty of options. Things like arc mines are pretty good all-rounders. Fireball mines are good for clear. Ice Spear is still going to be really good for single target. It kind of fell out of favor because there were other options like ball lightning mines instead. But I think we'll see a lot of ice lightning mines. And then maybe Glacial Cascade. Do I kiss boys? No, I do not. Minions? What about minions? I mean, I'm sure the minions will be fine, but I think probably Path in Act 3, Docks in Act 7, Fall City. Are you asking for pathing or are you asking for layout advice? For layout advice, in Docks, full clear the zone anyways. You need the XP in most runs. Like there's always a magic pack in the at the end of each like little side, so I'd recommend full clearing the zone anyways. Unless you're like on one side of the layout and the only unexplored area is on like the other side, and you've already got the sulfite or whatever that you need, then I would just place a portal or log out, whichever one's better for you. For Act 7, Vol City, watch Carve's guide on it. It actually makes it really simple. I don't speak Russian, sorry. How long have I been speedrunning PoE? I speedran since the camel races, but I didn't take it seriously. To be honest, it's one of my biggest regrets is not like actually trying and practicing. I was pretty much just not even a player at that point in time. But because I knew like Wrath and I knew Rathalos and I knew Ventura and like a couple other people, and they just kind of like shitposted my chant. So they asked me if I was joining the camel race, and I was like, "Yo, what camel race, dude?" So I basically went in with like no practice, and I didn't like nobody else was practicing besides like Ty and a couple other people. Maybe did like one run. Ty did like insane amount of runs, so he just smashed everybody. I'm a beautiful man. Thank you. What's better for Poison BV starter? 2 obliterations or Beano plus a cold iron point? Obliterations are going to be a lot cheaper, so. How do I think BV Poison Assassin would be a good starter? I think it's really good. You should ask Rutu or go to his channel. Check out his content. My league starter, I'm playing a Virgin Racing build to kill Adziri, and then after that I'm rerolling into Earth Shatter Champ to kill Awaken Rate. Hopefully. Best league starter for playing with an Aura bot. You're going to be better off with a projectile build, preferably like the Rain of Arrows. I'd recommend checking out the Rain of Arrows Ranger build I did. If you feel confident enough though, you can go like... I actually wouldn't recommend like Jug or like copying the MP strat of going what's it, sending Berserker. Best Mind League start. I just went over it. It's on Twitter. New Fireball art or new Firestorm art? What do you mean by alt? If I had to choose, I think the new Firestorm's actually pretty bad. Just looking at the numbers, and conferring with other people. How do you level minions without it feeling horrible? It's gonna feel horrible no matter what. I'd recommend going Summer Raging Spirits, the one that makes your minions burn. I don't remember what it's called, and then like something else. I don't remember to be honest. And then just going like minion stability and just listening to the pops. Minion speed works, faster casting. Infernal Legion, that's one. Yeah, like faster casting or whatever. You can use like minion damage in Act 1, switch it off for faster casting in Act 2, spell echo in Act 4 or whatever. Best trap starter, probably a lightning trap, really, my opinion. Sensing chess piece, would you go for the crackling lance? Not sure. Probably better to ask other people. Consider going slow stuff on hardcore or go softcore after the series. I think I've got a decent shot at killing Awakener 8 as like the 15 slot. I don't think I have a reasonable chance at positions 1 through 3 in my current state. However, next lead that might change. So I would like to maybe go for Awakener 8. If I die on like Sunday or whatever, I have to leave Sunday afternoon for a day or so. So if I die, then after that, I'll go home, spend time with my family, and then I'll probably reroll go core Soul Self-Found and study a whole bunch. Demand Soulpull. I love Soulpull. Use Demand. Can Vol BV drop from low level corrupted zones? Yes, it can. Which PoE streamer has the best hair? I like Mathel's hair. Q-Dog also has really good hair. Alkaiser 2 goes up there. Q&A speedrunner style? Yeah. Just having fun with the boys. Kraken Land Trister? Maybe. Not really that good. How fast am I reaching maps with Earth Shatter? From like, usually around like 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours, somewhere in there. How's the Rona affecting my classes? Dramatically. All my classes are online. They're all like cringe. The teacher puts us into breakout groups, and then one guy's got no mic, no cam, so we got a no mic, no cam Andy. One person just doesn't commit, like do anything for the group at all. Another person's like leaving to like go make food or whatever, just not giving a shit. And then it's usually just me and like some old person, like who actually takes it a little bit more seriously, like actually working on like whatever the teacher assigned us to do. Is Quinn69 an ethical hardcore player? People make fun of Quinn all the time, but he accomplishes more in the game than most people will ever do. Splitting Steel and Deadeye? Maybe, not really sure. But I think Chaosinger will be fine for leveling in Heist. I stole a strategy from Ventura, who actually stole a strategy from Carve, but you go Spellsinger, Essence Drain, Soul Rend, and Void Manipulation, and you link those all together. And then you can use Contagion and Spellsinger together. That way, you're essentially using like a 2-link for everything, but it's still going to be perfectly fine because just the interaction is really good. God bless people like me or carrying animals like you. Well, I mean, to be honest, I never really thought my channel would be this big. I just kind of streamed and just was like, if I can help people out, I'll help them out. So here I am. Top 3 melee leveling skills. I think Bladestorm is probably the best. Lacerate's not very good. It's often overhyped because you don't have bleed nodes and stuff. I think Earthshatter is actually pretty comfy leveling. It's not like fast by any means, but you're not gonna like really struggle other than like playing a WoW rotation in the game. The third best leveling skill for melee, it might unironically be sweep. I actually kind of like using sweep, but there's a bit of an issue where like it'll miss mobs at like point blank range or like in a certain dead zone. Haircut win? Maybe another time. Am I gonna call this friend of mine tomorrow? Oh, you mean the one that I told the story about earlier? Maybe. Probably won't talk to them until after league start though. I don't think it does me any good to talk to any girls, make any potential plans for the weekend, and then be like, sorry, I'm actually unavailable for the next 72 hours. So, what item filter do I use? I use the ones that I created myself. You can find them on my Discord. They're all text to speech and stuff. Why is your Act 1 stuck at 30 minutes? Most likely you spend a lot of time in town, I would say. That's usually where a lot of time is lost. Before you go back to town, you should know what you want to sell, what you want to buy, and like how you're gonna get there. I guess what you want to buy is like probably the first thing you want to think about, because it's like, I want to buy this gem, it costs a transmute, therefore I'm going to sell things unidentified, therefore I'm going to leave things unidentified on like this side of my inventory, that kind of stuff. I think brands are powerful for League Star. I think brands are pretty cool. Yeah. Is Impale Champ still good? Still in a good place? Yeah, it is. I'm actually going Impale Earthshatter Champ. I'm not going to be going Cyclone though. I think Cyclone's kind of a bait. It's not a very good leveling. Yeah, 30 minutes isn't even that bad. I would shoot for about 30 minutes per act if I was, you know, getting serious about leveling. Quick peek on the alternate quality 3 of Viper Strike. Um, I'm not really good at those kind of questions of like hypothetical game mechanics. Basically, I don't know until I know, and even if it's on the wiki, then I'll trust the wiki until someone says otherwise. Got a first timer playing with you. What's the best melee build for him? Hmm, probably ground slam actually. Ground slam's pretty good. Is TR Mines Trickster the best starter? I have a tier list on my Twitter, so if you want to find a whole link over there, you can find that. Exclamation mark Twitter, or a whole list over there, sorry. Reasonable good time for Act 1 to 10? Yeah, 5 hours is perfectly fine. Shoot for like anywhere of like, half an hour an act, maybe a bit more, a little bit less. Some files go into the folder. Yep, same place. It seems weird because I have so many. I should have just made a subdirectory and then fixed the filter, but I can't be asked. I'm really lazy, so that would require me to fix everything. Am I still doing a run today? I just finished an Aziri run. The timer's on screen. Without dying, actually. A good league starter that you can play into the end game. The idea behind my tier list on Twitter is that every build you can play should be a decent like league starter that is also a good end game. When I first started the game, I used to think that like a league starter was like something you played for like day 1, day 2, then you would immediately reroll with all the currency. However, I think now that it's a lot better to play a build that can level with literally no gear and also scale up pretty well into the end game. I think there might be 1 or 2 builds on the list that might not scale like quite as hard as others, or like, if you were to like graph out like the power levels based on how much currency you can put in, some builds would perform better than others, and that's not exactly where the tier list would end up. Tier list would be a bit different if you were to compare it based on endgame power instead, but I think for an overall smooth league, it's what the tier is based on. You should always play what you enjoy or what you think you're gonna have more fun on, rather than what I say, anyways. So, how to level a fireball miner? Orbital Storm, Stormblast Mine, switch to Arc Mines and X6. You can use. The thing with Fireball Mines is that you need to use Fireball Mines and Icicle Mines, so you need like double 6 links. So you're gonna want like a Tremor Rod and a Tabula before you switch off to Fireball. Is Arc and Ball Lighting Mines good? Ball Lighting Mines aren't nearly as good anymore. My last stream was the Impale Earth Shatter? I believe so, yeah. How does my loot filter auto update? It's on the Filter Blade website, and so it'll actually update automatically. Like try any build with Discharge. So usually when new skills like this come out, I like to try them out for speedrunning. I used to not do this, but I found that more often than not, I would be left behind in the dust when it comes to strategies for speedrunning. So other people would discover stuff before I did. Will I be your dad? No, I can hardly take care of myself. I wouldn't want to take care of another person. My dad actually had me when he was 20 years old, and I'm 21 right now, and I can't imagine having a child, let alone a year ago. I would lose my mind. I'm actually really happy that I have so much freedom. Any tips to getting the timing for Smoke Mine Flame Dash? Practice in like a layout, just like a really open layout. What makes any of the melee skills you listed better than Perforate? Perforate's really good actually. It's just that I personally don't like using Perforate. Yeah, I should probably include Perforate, but I believe Bladestorm outperforms Perforate, in my opinion. Especially after talking with some other people who play melee. Like, there's a reason why Fight Guard didn't go Perforate, right? Despite him being the melee god. I talked with Most Positive Man as well. He likes using Perforate, and believe it's Intimidating Cry in the early game. How do you level as an Armor Brand Chieftain? Very, very slowly. You can copy down somewhat Havoc did in the Gauntlet race. Any tips for Bleed Bow Glad from Start Earth? I have a YouTube video of me actually doing an entire run of Bleed Bow Glad. Damn, that is really hard to say, by the way. I recommend farming mudflats, and you should see if you don't get any like lion cards at all, then you should probably just skip over it at some point. I don't know when that point is though. I haven't like done any spreadsheets on it. Any streamer I recommend for Poison BB? Rutu, Ruetoo, Rutu. He's really good. He's actually where I found the Poison BB from originally. What about Crackling Lance plus Arc with Singer? No clue. Always started Act 3 underlevel, like level 23 to 24 on the docks. No, it's perfectly fine. Your issue is that you're probably not full clearing docks, so you want to be like 24 entering docks no matter what. Lucksmith thinks so. Yeah, you want to be around 24 entering docks, and I would recommend full clearing zone. What do I think about the Jalum build? I assume you mean Jolum build for this league? No clue. You stack mana with Crackling Lance Assassin? Don't know. Not the person asked for that, sorry. Is it worthwhile to grab a flame offering? A flame off a friend? I assume you mean flame dash. Would it be worth it to grab a flame dash off a friend? Oh yeah, the smoke mine flame dash combo is really good. You don't really need cast speed because the first cast of flame dash will actually be a lot faster if you haven't casted a dash recently. I'm gonna drink some water real quick. Well, should you leave dogs? That's dependent on what your goals are, what your build is. It's not like a set amount of XP, it's just you want to enter dogs at 24 and clear it till it's not efficient to do anymore. Can't catch any of my streams because of the time zones, but my YouTube videos help a lot. Yeah, I've considered like doing like a schedule or something. That requires like a lot of work though, because right now I'm just kind of like, I have my class schedule for college, and then for work I just kind of play it by ear. If I get something on my email, I do some work for a couple hours. You know, if I have a big project coming up, then I, you know, stream a couple hours later, a couple hours earlier. I just kind of adjust to it. I like the schedule a lot more, but it does leave me to being susceptible to, you know, no one knows when I go live, right? So people are like, well, he generally streams in this time, but every now and again I'll be like, oh, I'm streaming in the afternoon today. So, opinion on Blade Stormglad? I think it's a really good build. Bladestorm works really well with Rage and Close Combat. So the way that Bladestorm works is you spin around, you just outspin really quick, and then Rage gives you physical damage based on how many stacks you have. Close Combat will increase the movement speed of any travel skill you use, like Leap Slam, and also increases the damage you are based on how close you are to the mob. So the way that works is that you Leap Slam into a pack, you Bladestorm, it'll leave this little like ground effect on the ground, or like little swirly effect on the ground. That swirly effect will proc Rage, and it will proc Close Combat, and so you'll Leap Slam away, Close Combat will proc, you'll Leap Slam away again, Close Combat will proc, Leap Slam away again. You get the idea, right? And then you Bladestorm again or whatever. It's not like a set in stone rotation. Sometimes you have to Bladestorm more, sometimes you have to curse the mobs. I guess in the next patch it would be hexing instead of marking. But, you know, what I do for work and what major am I? It's just a general accounting work. It's pretty entry-level stuff, though. Why am I wearing jeans in the home? I find jeans to be very comfortable, actually. There's something about them that I just like wearing. Some people have been saying Berserker Bladestorm is super strong due to all the rage ascendancy nodes. I like the bleed explosions. I think bleed explosions make good. And that's if my stream grows big enough to sustain me going full time. Yeah. I mean, I do this for fun, but if I make enough money that like I can sustain myself in like a year or two, then sure. The dream would actually be to like find like some like really chill job that like barely needs me to do anything. That way, for social reasons, I could just say like, oh yeah, I have a job doing this for a few hours a week, you know. But I don't know any accountant that works like 10 hours a week. Why am I so awesome? Some people argue that I'm awesome. Some people argue that I'm cringe. So, I think that I'm alright. When you get to see my neck beard progress, I'm actually gonna shave tomorrow in preparation in the new league. This is just because usually when I shave, I have like social events, so there's no reason for me to really shave. I went into work on Tuesday. That was about it. Most of my work's from home. I could just lie. That is true. I could lie. Why am I ignoring you? Is 2 Spellsingers good for leveling? Yeah, 2 Spellsingers should be fine. When I switch from Bladestorm to Lacerate, usually after Merc Labs, I would pick up Bleed Notes around the time that I want to swap. Is Impending Doom / Hex Blast Occultist any good? I'm not very smart when it comes to stuff like that, so. Work at KPMG, I'm sure it's really chill. Alright, good. Alright, dude. Just do my accounting. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could be a private consultant or something. I could go into consulting and like help one client a year and then say that I'm legally an accountant. Obviously, I'd have to report all my income as streamers, but as being a streamer, but you know, for social reasons, I could say that I'm an accountant. It'd be easier if I lived on my own, but I'm thinking about getting a house with a friend of mine. He and I would just, you know, room together. It's like super speculative and it's really far away, and it is a little more on like the what if side, because it's like, well, what happens if, you know, I had a girlfriend and like we wanted to like raise a family or something, because that is on the menu 5 years from now or something like that. Why am I going to win the Adziri prize? Because I'm gonna get lucky with the midnight and everyone else is gonna die. Blazing Salvo Miner? Should be fine. If it's bad, you can just switch to a different miner, right? Or just grow a pair and say I'm a streamer? I mean, if I don't make enough from streaming, then obviously I can't do it to sustain myself, right? Recommend putting Mirage Archer on Caustic Arrow or Toxic Rain? Caustic Arrow. And I recommend going Toxic Rain, Swift Assembly, and Blast Chain Mine to make your leveling really smooth. Should Chieftain level with Bladestorm, or should you go with Tectonic Slam instead? I'd recommend Bladestorm. Am I worried about clear speed if you're starting with melee? Not really. I'm more worried about staying alive, and that's what melee does really well. Lots of mitigation on melee. What do I think is going to be the best ascendancy for Crackling Lance? Probably better ask someone like Rise or something like that. I'm gonna go Bleed Bow Glad. Still think it's in a solid position. Yep, so it's still on the tier list. Am I going for Awakener 8? I am. Not the first one. Usually I am a little bit slower just entering maps. Well, entering maps I'm usually one of the first, but to actually do maps, I either get bored or just haven't practiced it that much. Is Enduring Cry on left click dead? No, it's still perfectly fine. Still be able to use it. There's plenty of other options if you want to use that instead, but you know, it was actually insane how much like regen and mitigation you could get just on your left click, and it's still gonna be really good. Hierophant? Sure, dude, why not? I don't know what would be the absolute best, and it depends on what your goals are and what you're going to do to juice it up. Is Glancing Blow is still usable? I don't know enough about mathematics to answer that question. How long have I been doing this, by the way? I really want to do it for a couple hours. Let me check stream really quick. See how long I've been doing this. Sorry, I'll try to answer questions if I can. You can sustain yourself. Think saying I am a streamer is better for your mental health than lying. I mean, my family's okay with it. You know, my mom was very, very adamantly against me streaming for a very long time. Until I was like, yeah, no, people watch me and stuff, and you know, I make money. So she's like, oh, okay, cool. And then you know, let off my back a bit. I've been doing this about an hour, I think. Yeah, how long have I been doing this? 350. What's the difference between those times? 31 minutes. Oop. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, about 31 minutes. Don't stop the timer. I'll just start, I guess. Should have started this sooner, but Chieftain Bladestorm, would you pick Magmatic Strikes to make it 90% fire? You don't have to convert everything. You don't want to. I think conversion's good, but like I said, I'm not really sure. What would I level with for Blade Fall Blade Blast Chieftain? I would cover what Havoc did in the Gauntlet race. Already found someone who did the mass with Glancing Blues? I mean, it really depends. Like, does your build have like life or ES gain on block? If so, then it's still probably good. You know, are you like a gladiator that can get close to max block anyways, even without glancing? Then do that. Favorite skills in the game? Probably what I really enjoy. I think Cast on Crit Ice Nova was probably one of my most favorite builds. I played that back in Metamorph League. Metamorph was like the only league that I played like longer than a month, I think. Made a few mirrors that league. It's pretty fun. Blazing Salvo Miner. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you go Blazing Salvo Miner, it turns out it sucks. You've got plenty of other mines you can just switch to pretty easily. Opinion on cast when stunned. Ideally, you're not getting stunned, or you have stun block recovery somewhere. You could do something. I've thought about using it before, but why would you use cast on stun when cast when damage taken is just better, right? Do I know anything about Wind Dancer? Not a clue. Mention one of my vids. No one watches my videos all the way through. People actually do. Yeah, I get a lot of comments on that actually. I find it a bit surprising. If you're watching this from YouTube, hello. Have a good day. Have a good night. How do I think about Dampian? What do I think about Dampian? I think he's a good racer. I think he's got a mouth that gets him in trouble, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. Got a bit of an ego as well. But I mean, there are plenty of other people who have egos that shouldn't. Any opinion on the changes to curses? Overall seem pretty cool. I like them. It'll be a bit weird to adjust to them, but let's go. I recommend a level with for a Juggernaut that will transfer in a Righteous Fire. Honestly, you could probably just level as Righteous Fire with Vitality. Righteous Fire actually got changed a while ago to have some flat damage on it, so it should be fine. Not sure. What level is Bleed EQ Glad? I would level Melee going Blade Storm, and then transition over to Bleed EQ later on. Whether or not you want to go two-hander or not, it's up to you. Share my Discord? Exclamation mark Discord. Can you do leveling with Spellslinger? Yeah, but it'll be a little bit scuffed. Inquisitor Assassin better for Crackling Lance? Don't know. Lots of Discharge at Night? Don't know. How long do I think the first Awakener kill would be? First Awakener kill will probably go down in 22 hours would be my guess, somewhere around 20 to 24 hours, somewhere in that region. Um, Knowing some of those players, maybe even a bit less. It's literally like a one session kind of thing for most of those players. For me though, I'm not gonna stop trying until it's like Sunday afternoon. At that point, probably give up. I can go until Monday though, maybe. Thoughts on best leveling options for Pathfinder Minder? I'm assuming you're on TR Mines, then you can go TR Mines. Oh, this is some neat graphs. Yeah, this pretty much confirms what I said though, with glancing blows being good. Is like, it really depends on if you have life gain unblock and a bunch of other mechanics going on. Can I do a door giveaway? That's a really old meme. Ooh, I forgot about that. Ah, I miss those days. Ah, the good old Diablo 3 door giveaway days. Purifying Flame Mines? Are you going Purify Flame Mines? Yeah, maybe levels TR Mines then. Although I assume if you're going Spellcaster. Hmm, that's a bit tricky then. I mean, there was a similar thing where it's like, how do you level his Icicle Mines? It's like a Deadeye, because that was a really cool build for a while. And the answer was that you basically just kind of bear with it, just accept the fact that it sucks for the first few X, and don't worry about like racer times or anything. Is there a mirror on the wall? So there's the tabula back there on the wall. Weird flex. And then yeah, that's a mirror that behind it is a cabinet, or not a cabinet. Sorry, it's my closet. People said it's really weird, but I actually think it's pretty fine. Look at better erasing. I mean, I've done plenty of practice. I've talked about this before, but I think that similar to studying for like an exam or like something really really important in life, it's not like all the last minute practice you do that really matters. It's like the practice you've done every day for like weeks that matters. Now for exams, I always cram it at the last minute, and my results show on that. I'm not like a star A student or anything like that, like straight 4.0. My GPA for you know like freshman and sophomore year was a lot better than my GPA is right now. But it's just because I'm playing a lot of video games, to be honest. But I'm doing what I love. Where am I from? America, brother, on Midwest. How is this race giveaway stuff gonna work? So I actually have my own giveaway stuff to give away for you guys. Um, will be front page on Sunday. I'll probably, if I die or kill Itzuri, I'll do a giveaway. Uh, Probably like 3 or 4 giveaways or something like that. I'll reroll, do Earth Shatter. Maybe a while later, I'll do another giveaway. I don't really know when I'm gonna do them. But basically, I got some codes. I can give them away whenever I want. When the race starts, Twitch invited me to be front page on Sunday and some other. No. It's like Saturday night. I should probably let you guys know when that is. I don't know. It seems cool. Uh, Really excited to be front page, but I'm not really nervous or anything. I expect a lot of like new player answers or questions stuff like that. Which honestly, I think getting it on Sunday is ideal. I was really really worried actually when Virio like asked me like, hey, do you want to be on front page for a while? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And I was like, oh god, what if they put me on front page like right on Friday, like right when the league starts, and I'm just like not talking, like it's just music. Like I hate watching streams like that. I always try to be a stream that I want to watch. That's my philosophy behind streaming. Is like I want to be somebody that like would entertain me, right? Gotta be on your best behavior. I mean, you don't have to really worry about it too much, but what do I think about a hardcore trade league in this event? Does it kill trade league? I mean, even if there wasn't a Ziz event, it would still be a pretty dead trade league. I think events like this make hardcore trade league even smaller. But to be honest, ever since the introduction of hardcore SSF, it's kind of been like, well, why play hardcore trade league when you just play hardcore SSF for a different experience and a better experience, arguably. Which only leads more and more people to play hardcore SSF, and they're like, well, nobody plays hardcore trade, so why not just play hardcore SSF? Honestly, that's like my philosophy behind it as well. Is like, if I were to play hardcore, I'd play SSF because like, why play trade league? But I'm adding on to the problem at that point. Entertain yourself, like you do that just fine, Ryuchi. How about that no mic, no cam, blasting music? Well, I'll be using cam on day one. I mean, besides, you guys gotta get the rip clip ready anyways, right? Is Vero part of Twitch TV staff? No, he's just a cool dude. Big part of racing. Shout out to him. Same with like Brittany and everybody else in the racing scene. Did IMXL get the record shortest time for dominance kill in the charity race 2 weeks ago? I believe so. Good morning. Well, it's 1 a.m. for me, so good morning, EU friend. Thoughts on Soul Self and soft core boss races in the future? I don't think they're very entertaining for people to watch, so. There's just an angel sent from the heavens for PU racers? Yes, he is. Yeah, the thing with Soul Self on softcore is that uh, they arguably make a better racing experience for shorter races and stuff like that because you can seriously go balls to the wall. But like, it's really hard to balance around stuff like that. In the relay race that we did recently, where if you died, it added 2 minutes at a time. It was really hard to track like who was actually ahead. Now, part of this was because one person would finish the dominus kill, the next person in the group would go. So not only was it really hard to track who was ahead in terms of like progress, because you couldn't really track each team individually or see who was on what. Um, Not only could you not do that, but also you didn't know how many times someone died, and so you didn't know how far they actually were behind. So why is the timer running? Because when it ends, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Vero was just Vero just does a lot for the community. He and Mr. Maddocky have been I believe he's a mod as Zizerans for quite a while, if I'm not mistaken. He just wanted to do stuff for the community. What's the meta for next league? You can check my Twitter. There's a bunch of stuff on there. There's probably some builds that aren't listed there that are still perfectly fine or even better. Do you have anything written for my usual speedrunning setup? Not really. You can copy my like profile for the armor brand stuff. I don't think it's ideal though. Like, I don't make a video on like stuff that are like exclusively speedrunning because it's not really helpful to people. Or end uploads. Do I speedrun any single player games? Not really. No. I don't really enjoy speedrunning PoE. What if GGG enabled the death timer like XLCon? That'd be cool, but it wouldn't really play a factor in the Awakening Gate run. Like, it doesn't matter if you lose like an hour. Well, it does actually if you're like a top level player, but you know. Well, difference. I don't know if I already said hi or not. Favorite PoE moment so far? Probably. I don't know. Winning races is cool. I don't have a favorite in particular in mind, but winning races is cool. Winning against Arena Ranger was pretty badass. I didn't think I was actually gonna win that race. I was like, oh no, I BM too hard. I'm gonna lose. Dude was blasting. I won by like literal seconds. And then other than that, there was the first time I got invited to the camel race, and Rathalos was like, "Yo, Tata, you gonna join the camel race this weekend?" I was like, "Yo, what camel race? What, dude?" No, I completely sucked, but I wrote on Twitter that Bladefall Blade Blast needs a lot of gear. Was that also meant for Assassin? And what kind of specific gears need? Just like high quality, like high level gear of like I don't know. You would want like Conquer influence stuff for like gain physics extra kind of stuff. But by the hardcore event, yep. And I'm going to continue the how to path through early acts for all the acts. Not all the acts, I don't think. Most of the acts already have videos for them, you know, like how do you path through this specific part or that specific part. The cool thing about X6 is that like it's my own pathing and it's something that hasn't been beaten to death and I don't see anybody doing it. It's super min-max and it's only really like there to be there because I introduced, you know, doing Tidal Island. Chip Idiot and Ty both discovered separately that if you kill Tukohama and you go to the ridge and you click on the waypoint and place down a portal, it's actually closer to the Twilight Strand. However, I just thought about like what if I incorporated um, the Tidal Island into it for a belt or an amulet. What do I think is better slash faster level? Chaos Spellslinger or Toxic Rain? If you're planning to play TR in late game, I'd recommend just playing TR in early game. Would I quickly go over the Smoke Mine Flame Dash? Throw a Smoke Mine, detonate it, use Flame Dash. It'll be a little bit weird, but you'll get used to it. Try using it specifically in like just a practice, like just go off and practice it on your own. Don't try to incorporate it into a speedrun when you're practicing all these different things. Do I like it? Do I level Flame Dash slash Smoke Mine slash Second Wind gems? I do. I actually tried out using a Flame Dash, Smoke Mine, Arcane Surge, Second Wind today. And I might prioritize the Second Wind over Arcane Surge, but I'm not certain yet. It's worse for bossing if I take off Arcane Surge, but Using an entire 4 link for that is a bit difficult. What do I think about splitting steel? No clue. I think it should be like one of those skills where like if splitting steel is bad, you can still play plenty of other skills as like impale, right? Have I ever gotten a Kitava kill in under 2 hours? If not, is it possible? I think all my Kitava kill. You mean like an Act 10 Kitava? In that case, no, I've never gotten a sub 2 hour. I've gotten a 2 hour and 10 minutes, and recently I think I got like 2 hours and 12 minutes, but it was with like 5 deaths, so we added 2 minutes for every death, so it was like 2 hours and 22 minutes final time. I don't think sub 2 hour acting Kitava is possible in current patch unless you're like Ty. I think Assassin will still be a good league starter after this, depending on what Assassin build you want to play. Smoke my Flame Dash is so hard when your ping is high. That is true. If your ping's that high enough, you could probably just not use Smoke Mine in general. I mean, I tried playing it on the China client with like 100 and something ping, 150 I think, and I kind of just preferred using just regular Flame Dash. Is June a better priority for encounters for a start or Bestiary? You'd ideally want to save June for like your T5 missions for the XPs. There's certain crafts that you can't get to like T6, like trigger craft, stuff like that. But you know, better use Beast usually, so you can get the flask crafts that you're missing, things like bleed immunity, freeze immunity, that kind of stuff. Good act one time, just shoot for like half an hour per act. If you get a bit over that, it's fine. Ty has a VOD ready to pull out whenever someone does a 2 hour act 10 Kitava. That's probably true, but the thing is that like not only has the campaign been made harder, but the racing skills that we used have been nerfed. So like double worsened in a way. So getting like a really good Act 10 time is like pretty difficult, but it's actually pretty fun the last time I did it with XL. The reason why we don't really do Act 10 runs is because of how rippy they are. They're very time consuming, and I think that the time can be better spent practicing for other events. I mean, not that we've had any racing events, but you know, you can just play other things instead of slamming your head into a wall trying to get through Act 9 Belly the Beast without dying. Yeah, Act 9, Act 10 are terrifying in the run. Is a leap slam technique still viable? What do you mean leap slam technique? Was I able to learn from Ty 23? I was actually. I've learned a lot about Ty 23. A couple of things that I learned from Ty 23 I don't see anybody else doing actually. I can't say what one of the things is, just because it's a super secret strategy. It's actually so easy to copy too, but I don't see anybody else doing it. I literally haven't seen anybody stream it. So, how many races have I won? I don't know. I don't really keep count of that thing. I don't like having like a trophy wall or anything. I play in races and I win some and I lose some. I would like to get better though. So, it's not like there hasn't been a. It's not like there's been any races anyways. Yeah, find a cool starter build. ED and other generic stuff seems boring. Exclamation mark Twitter, I got a tier list on there. Maybe I remember wrong in the past, but some racers use Leap Slam and Mana Bottles instead of Quicksilvers. Yeah, I mean, you should still use one Quicksilver, and probably 2 Mana Flasks with Leap Slam. What I say about the new Steel Gems, even if they're bad and you don't like using them, you could always just switch off to a different Steel build, right? You could just go like Earth Shatter with like, what's it called? Impale, that's the name of the mechanic. Trophy Walls, Tabulast? I mean, yeah, the Tabulast is probably my most prized position. What does Supercharge mean? Couldn't tell you. You normally keep on playing leagues? You always first in software trade, but over the weekend you don't see me anymore. Just because I'm not really pushing. The chances of me pushing versus a group, like past the first 4 hours, is pretty much 0. There's no way I'll beat a group in currency unless I play PoE trade from that point on. There's no way I'll beat them at XP, just period, I think. So, you're starting GC totems or lightning trap? Haven't decided yet. I can't really be the deciding factor. What you should do, something I like to do in cases like these, is if I don't know between 2 decisions, I'll flip a coin. If I'm hesitant on the side that lands up, then I'll just go with the other one automatically. Because if I was really undecided or really indifferent on which one I wanted to play, then I would have just said like, yep, it landed on the head, so I'm gonna play this. But if I have to think about it and think like, well, do I really? Then instead of going back and forth and going like, well, do I really want to do this or that or this or that or this? Instead of flip-flopping back, I just choose the other build. So, any tips on like non-PoE wise for race? Prepare food? Yeah, I recommend not eating a bunch of junk food and stuff like that. People get like really burnt out eating like really unhealthy food. I like to make chicken the day before. Does Chaos Singer still work post Spell Singer nerf? Stole a strat from Ventru, stole this from Carve. You go Essence Drain, Soul Rend, Void Manipulation, Spellsinger. That's like a 4-link that's like all together. Then you also go like Spellsinger and Contagion. So make some salad. No, I mean whatever works, you know. Like Discharge with Injujon plus Archmage could be nerfed, maybe. Other tips for starting off PvE, like outside of PvE for the new league, would be like just get a good night's sleep, man. You know. The best thing you can do is just like have a plan. I would say. You know, you don't want to go into the new league blind. Stop eating sugar. I mean, you don't have to stop eating sugar, but sugar. Big Conviction and Ball Lighting with Spellsinger, will that work? Usually you want arc with that setup. If you do it with arc, it's a bit weird, but it should be fine. Maybe. It's just a bit worse now, unfortunately. League start lasagna. Interesting. I don't know what that means, sorry. Can't help you there. Smoke Mine Flame Dash, save you a charge, or just time and animations? So, I went over this in the Ziz lesson, but I'll briefly repeat what I said over there and here. Basically, you're using 2 charges at once, because Smoke Mine and Flame Dash both share charges. However, Smoke Mine gives you movement speed for a short duration, but if you just Smoke Mine all over the place, you'd like Smoke Mine, make use of some of it, Smoke Mine again, make use of some of it, Smoke Mine, make use of some of the movement speed, and be inefficient. So instead, if you throw the Smoke Mine and then you detonate and you press Flame Dash, you use 2 charges at once. This will make you travel twice as far, maybe not twice as far exactly, but you'll travel quite a bit further than you would otherwise, as the very small window that it takes to cast Flame Dash is actually being used while you're like still detonating the mine, so you cast them like at the same time, essentially. And so you ignore that like 0.2 seconds or whatever it is on Flame Dash. And on top of that, because you expended 2 charges, the time between your next Smoke Mine Flame Dash or the next travel skill you use period is going to be longer, meaning that you get more use out of the movement speed from Smoke Mine. So same as hardcore league starter in your opinion, or Shadow Tramp's perfectly fine. That's gonna be my league starter. I think it's really tanky. I think Glaciary Glad might be tankier, and I think that it's probably a tankier build in general. However, I don't think that I'm gonna get access to a Bleed X in under like a couple days, so maybe. Super like RNG dependent. Good night, AG. Thanks for tuning in. What should you play for softcore and stuff? You can check out my Twitter. I'll my Twitter. Any good guides that let you transition ED Contagion to CI? Yeah. Zizarin and Carverusku both have guides on YouTube. Thanks for asking, no problem. Do you think Chaos Spellsing is still viable? Just answer that. How old am I? No, I'm not 16. Usually people say, yeah, I mean, I guess people say younger or older. I just turned 21, so I'm legally able to drink in the United States, but I don't really drink, so. It's supposed to be a big like coming of age moment turning 21, but pretty much all my plans were cancelled because people can't stay inside. Like Shattering Steel's good, just answer that. Even if it's not good, you can still switch off to other steel builds. Thoughts of skipping Tabula and farming Dapper Prodigy and Residence? I mean, I wouldn't really farm Tabula in the league start anyways. I farm Blood Aqueducts for early currency generation, but mostly it's for experience. I notice in like all the runs that I do, even if they're in Soul Self and Hardcore or Soul Self and whatever, I'll usually farm Blood Aqueducts till about 62 or so. 21, yep, perfectly legal. Sorry, I don't speak Christian. Want to try Chieftain Blast or any leveling tips? Have a plan before you do it. Maybe do like 1 run to see if it's really what you want to do, because Blade Blast is not good without good gear. So. You know what I could have played this whole time? I could have played like, I don't know, like a nice campfire or something. Yeah, nice little campfire in the background. I think GC or Blazing Salvo has a chance to be good. As good as Ball Lightning Mines? I think they'll be better than Ball Lightning Mines. Well, maybe I can't say better than Ball Lightning Mines, but I don't think Ball Lightning Mines is going to be that great. If I farm Tabula and a Bladestorm Gladiator, transitioning to Lacerate Glad, you definitely can. If you're playing in Trade League, it's a bit of a different answer because you can acquire like 4 or 5 different humilities, farm up to like maybe, I don't know, 68 or something, and then buy the remaining ones for Chaos Orbs. So you'll most likely find something decent. Yeah, I could put on like a campfire in the background, but I'm sure most people probably have like music playing or something, so I don't want to ruin the rest of the video. Spellsinger dead? Just answer that. Stormbrand still a good league starter. So Stormbrand used to be one of the best League starters. In fact, it was the best racing build. However, a bunch of version racers, not gonna name any names, but I was one of them. And we actually played Stormbrand so much in races, and there were so many races at the time that Stormbrand got nerfed like repeatedly, so it's not as good for leveling. So I think that it's not that great. Oops, that's my keys. Sorry for those. Isn't it just better to get residents? Pretty sure those cards will. I can't comment confidently on whether or not they'll be more or less expensive. Yeah, you can definitely get to residents. If you think about it, like farming a channel map or farming residents is like farming blood aqueducts, but it's got quantity on it. I mean, you could just rush to them if you wanted to, but I like farming blood aqua for a bit of XP. The thing is that you might not get the colors you want in your chess piece, right? And so it's like, what if you get a chess piece that you don't want? Really wrong base or something. I want to play Pathfinder or Scourge Hero, but don't really know what to level with. You should level with Classic Hero and Toxic Rain. And then, I mean, if you just want to use Toxic Rain level 12, that's perfectly fine too. Plan on leveling Classic Hero Toxic Rain to lag 6, swapped Ethereal Knives on Shadow. Is that good enough bossing for PV? Are you going Poison Ethereal Knives? I've never heard of that build before. I'm not sure if I can comment on that or not. I don't want to bait you into saying that it's good or saying don't play it. So maybe do like a practice run. Usually for like really weird builds for like that, I'll recommend doing just one run, and that way you can see like, oh, this is the worst experience I've ever had leveling, because then at least you have it like a couple days before the league starts, rather than it happening on league start. You reroll after 3 hours. Everything is just in pain. Can you race with minions? You can't race with minions, but you can definitely league start with minions. Maps also good missions. Yeah, it's true, but I mean, you're not going to be making huge bank off finding like an Einhar in like a white map or something, you know. Even like most incursion rooms not that great. What I think about the new Ascendancy will be best for the new steel skills. Probably champ, but I have no idea. How should you level if you're going Crackling Lance later? That depends on your archetype of what build you want to play. Poison Prolific Cruel Labs, very nice. You're not wrong. I mean, you could just use Scourge Arrow until then, yeah, if you wanted to. Is there a documentation for this route speedrun reviews? Sorry, let me repeat that question. Is there a route that documents? Is there documentation for the route that speedrunners use? Brittle knee, so like brittle knee, BRITTLEKNE. So brittle knee actually has a guide on what speedrunners do. I've looked it over. It's pretty accurate. The thing with guides like that, and the reason why I don't make like pathing guides, is because it depends on what builds you want to do, what passive points you want to do. There are lots of like differing things that could happen. Like for example, if you get the docks but you're level 23, well, you should go to Solaris first instead. And then because you do Solaris, you should literally go out of your way to full clear the entire map. I recommend full clearing the map even regardless if you just enter at 24. But like you can't go to docks if you're not level 24 at the minimum, because you just get so much XP penalty. For whatever reason, I think they expect you to go to Solaris first. However, by being 24, you can actually go to docks first, and it's better because you save a load screen. But yeah, I mean, I guess you can get Zona missions. Zona missions are pretty value. Setting up the June board's nice, but most people don't know how to set up June boards. Do I have any other streamers I would recommend for Fireball Mind Starter? You can make like a loose version off of Wynn's old build, but that's like going like that was like old days, right? He went like blood magic and stuff, so not exactly like that. Best for a good league starter, Red Bull or Monster? Water, sir. But I have the 43-second video on how to run X6. Yeah, but even in that video, I talk about like, here's the best pathing you want to do, and even if you don't want to do Tidal Island, here's how you do it. But there's so many different like variations, and like that's not even like the second part of Act 2, right? That's like the first part of Act, or that's not even the second part of Act 6. Sorry, that's like the first like 4 zones of Act 6. Like there's so many different things you can like change up and things that you can differ, you know. Also, there's lots of stuff that's been beaten to death, and other streamers have talked about, other streamers have done, other streamers have showcased. It's just that this pathing in particular was my own. Tips from Merville as a caster: always do the wand recipe. Either if you can't do it before Brutus, try to do it after Brutus. How big is my? It's average. Take the chaos slash fizz nodes at the start. Oh, you're answering someone else. Water, yeah, water's really good. I have no idea, Zerker EQ. I don't know how to answer trivial, or not trivial, difficult gameplay mechanics that I don't know anything about. So, how do you level with Assassin? That highly depends on your archetype. Are you going Spellcaster? What's the goal for endgame? Is Stormbrand good for leveling Assassin? No, I'd say it's pretty bad. You'd want to go like Orbital Storms with Stormblast Mine. So like the typical racer build, there's tons of guides on it. And then use like Wave of Conviction as well. I recommend using like Cremation on top of that. But I have no idea if you want to go like Armageddon or not. So what do you think about hybrid ED? I personally am a hybrid boy. I really like Trickster, like hybrid, but other people don't think it's that good for obvious reasons, right? Being immune to like chaos damage is pretty insane, right? Like, or not being immune to chaos damage, but well, I mean, if you go CI, yeah, it makes so many fights like way easier and a lot safer. So I'm like a good Chad. Thanks, but I'm just a racing virgin. What's the point of practicing 100 hours to save a few minutes of getting the maps for fun? You know, I don't think that life has any inherent meaning. I just kind of do stuff that I want to do, right? So, if something I want to do, then I'll do it. Went for a Connected Blast, Poison Assassin. How would I level in that? Very, very slowly. There's lots of builds like that that are like, oh, these are really bad. So instead of taking 4 hours or 3.5 hours to level, I'm just gonna take 4, 5 to 6 hours and just accept that it's gonna be slower. I know I said I don't play it much, but in theory, what I level to? What level would I switch to Scourger after leveling with Toxic? Probably just 28, as soon as you get it. You have to use Marauders or Scourger though, otherwise it's bad. Would you rear your character mid-race if you find a better weapon? No. You should make a character that could use any weapon, regardless of what it is. Any tips on theory crafting for intermediate casual players? So much to know and so little time. Follow people that are really smart. Follow people like Pee Dan 79. Follow people like there's plenty of people. Steel Mage is really good. Follow like a decent amount of streamers. Compare and contrast opinions. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? You can just kind of take what people say, you know. Just race with Discharge. I'll be practicing with Discharge at some point throughout the league, but I'm not going to use it on league start. Ethereal Knife's Trickster, leveling Caustic Arrow, Toxic Rain, this swap to EK, BV with some regret points. Is that a good plan? I don't think you have to use Ethereal Knives, I think you just use Blade Vortex, but once you're like 38, if you want. You shouldn't even really have to use any regrets if you level with like Poison. Got a favorite meal for my before a race. Chicken breast and rice, pretty good meal. Any VOD or video I recommend for Shadow Stormbrand leveling? On Twitch, I have an Orb of Storms Assassin run, but that was pre multi nerf on the tree and pre upcoming nerf for Assassin. So take that as a goal. Thinking of starting with Burning Arrow dot tricks this week. Any advice? Try to get Evolve Burning Arrow as soon as possible. I think. Yeah, you can follow Carve, Gucci, Ventura, and see what they think about patch notes, right? Yeah, I answered your question, ZerkEQ. I said, I don't know. I don't want to bait you into thinking it's good or lie to you and say it's bad if I don't know. Like GC Minor would be a good league starter. Yep. What was my favorite old school race from point season? I never played in the point season. That was before my time. Before I was born, really. I would have really liked to play in it. Funny story, actually. I got into PoE like back in high school. So I tried playing PoE numerous times and I didn't like it. I said that Diablo 3 is a better game. I'm gonna keep playing Diablo 3 for the foreseeable future. Don't think I'll ever play this dead game by a dead indie company. Little did I know that, you know, that indie company would shape my life, change it for the better. But you know, I tried out PoE numerous times, didn't really like it. And the main reason I got back into it, I remember because I told my friend, and he told me that's stupid, but I thought it was the coolest thing, was that by playing PoE, you could win a T-shirt if you completed like all their challenges. Now that was like literally like beta times or whatever, and I didn't know if they didn't do that anymore. So my favorite game after PoE, staring at a wall, and then below that is League of Legends. But dead game's better than big game. I mean, depends on the game. what I think was the best racing build ever. Orb of Storms, Elementalist that used Prolif with Stormblast Mine. That build, pre like the last 7 nerfs, were pretty cool. Among Us is really cool, but Among Us is a fad. Among Us is something that will go away with time, right? What ranked have I peaked at in League of Legends? Diamond 1. My RuneScape name? It's a Hiccup Boy 224. I often use that name for other video games as well. I use it for League as well. Uh, or like my alt account, the one that's not tactical. How do I avoid situations where my resistances are spread and balanced so precariously between gear that it's hard to upgrade following that? It's a lot easier to upgrade your resistances if they're all spread out, because that way, like let's say that you have like 60 fire, 65 cold, and like 75 lightning. Like you find a piece of gear that like replaces like a lightning piece, and so your lightning goes under, but like your fire and cold goes up. Well, that's easy because you just need to look for items with like the highest number of resistances, and then you equip those, and you'll find something eventually. Assuming that you're identifying like almost all the rares you come across, so you don't need transmutes like early on. I'm gonna say you're probably like an X6 or something like that. That's why you're struggling with resist. That's why you're probably struggling with resist in the first place. For the most part, you're just looking for things with like high life and high resist, um, and trying to see if you can craft resist anywhere. Crafting resist is gonna be a fix. Why are you bringing that up? Twitch co-ops or journeys. I don't mind anime, but I do mind weebs. They smell. They're always talking about weird shit. Half of them like I was literally having a conversation the other day about like favorite characters from like ReZero, and this other dude brought up like this like 500-year-old lolly character, and I was like, why? Like I just like if I could block someone in real life, I would do it, but you know, it goes from like being really cool that we have something in common to being like, oh, you should probably be in jail. Is chaos supposed to be worth it? Yeah, first few days it's pretty worth it. I read the new chapters of solo leveling. I haven't caught up last few weeks. Yeah, is right. That's why I generally don't talk about it that much. Personally, I think totems would be better since the skill works more like divine ire. I mean, you can play it either way you want. To be honest, they did both the cast speed, so. Trying hardcore trade most likely, start with GC Minor or Earthshatter Champ. You can play either one you want. I think Earthshatter Champ is going to be more defensive, but uh, you should watch Black Mirror where they block people. Oh, I've seen that episode actually. I really like that one. Wish that's a spoiler for that episode, but I guess not. It's a part like midway through. Yeah, no spoilers in chat, or I will ban you. By the way. Alright, group is slow going. Should you be grabbing and IDing everything in that case and taking plus 10 life? Most of the gearing process is like looking for like high life, high resist, and making sure you can fill in your sockets somewhere. So like you have like a mandatory list of like sockets that you need for your build to function. For example, like your caustic arrow toxic rain build, or let's just say your toxic rain build. Let's make it simple. You need to have like your toxic rain links, whatever those may be. Usually it's 4 green if you're not going mines. Then you want like 4 green somewhere. And as long as you've got that, you just need a spread of like green sockets out throughout your gear, and maybe like a couple other socket colors every now and again. That's pretty much it. And then from there, the rest of your gear can be like life and resist. Share a BV assassin tree on my Discord. Does this look okay to me? I generally don't look at POVs just because to genuinely give like a good answer to someone, I would have to spend a lot of time on it, and that's not something that I generally have. I mean, I know I have a lot of time here, but if I were to look at POVs, I could be sitting here all day going, yes, well, let me see, yes. It's kind of like the difference between answering someone on like a generic question versus like answering like an in-depth math question that requires me to like do some research or stuff like that. Whatever levels a champion, yeah, I've leveled this champion before. It's in my VODs, but what's the heist meta looking like? Exclamation mark Twitter, got a tier list on there. Stormblast Mine or Freezing Pulse from level 2, leveling a miner. Stormblast Mine. No, I answered that question like our Orb of Storms in the custom crew is amazing. Do I know any more similar trade league builds optimized for the monies? You play like Caustic Arrow, Toxic Rain, and the Poison BV. I think the build's gonna be really popular, but also really, really good. So. Thanks, man. I know a lot of these are like low level questions, but it really helps. I don't think they're really low level questions. I don't even know what a low level question would be like. You guys are probably gonna ask some low level questions. Musketeer bots, really good, really good aura. It shocks and freezes mobs, and if you ever use mines, it's really strong because it can sometimes reapply mines. And like if you use blast chain mine, every mine in the sequence does more damage than the last, and if like one mine rearms itself at like 17 or something, that's a huge amount of damage. So ice trap good for starting, or mine's a lot better. I don't know enough to answer that question. You're looking at some different ice trap builds or something. What's the cast sequence when you get Wave of Conviction Act 2? Plant Stormblast mines. It depends on if the boss is alive or not. If you're pre-trapping the boss, then you want to stand an appropriate amount of distance away, like half a flame dash away. Throw down 15 mines, the boss will come up. You flame dash, orb of storms, detonate the mines, wave of conviction at the same time that you're detonating the mines, and you continuously place mines. Now this all has to take place within like literally under a second though. So how do you link your skills at low levels? Try to find a house for them. So just get a house. Always look at the vendors for the colors that you want, and then put the links in there. And then try to find ways that you can find not only good gear, but alternatives to what you're using. So like again, going back to the Toxic Rain example, if you use Toxic Rain, using a 4 green, try to look for other 4 green bases. Hold on to them in your inventory. Like let's say they use 4 green gloves, and the rest of your gear is just like life and resistance and random soccer colors that you use for other stuff. You know, you find a 4 green helmet, just hold on to it, you know? You never know when you're gonna find like an insane pair of gloves. Like I found an insane pair of gloves on my run earlier today, and I just switched up my links, and it was perfectly fine because I held on to another 4 links somewhere else. Can I recommend you a fun melee starter? I think Bladestorm Glance is pretty fun. There's some nice leveling gems to use on Shadow with an Orbot friend. Generally speaking, you're better off playing like projectile builds with an Orbot, but if you don't know enough to that you're asking that, then your friend probably shouldn't play an Orbot then. Should probably just play independent builds. What am I going with the heist? It's Earthshatter Champ. Although I'm playing a racing build to kill Zuri. How to get into PvE racing? I just played the game and I was like, man, I suck. There's an upcoming, it was the Incursion Soul Self-Found, well, it was just the Incursion Flashback League, because, you know, we used to have fun in the game. And so they used to run these, like, leagues where, like, we'd play for, like, a couple weeks or something like that. And I wanted to push 100, and I remember back in Bestiary I wanted to push 100, but I got to, like, 96 or something, and my final exams kicked in or something, and you know, I didn't do well in my final exams. I didn't do well in the race, and I was like, I don't want to repeat that again. So I'm gonna do some practice. And so I did a couple practice runs practicing Isla's Righteous Fire Occultist for the Incursion Practice League, and it turns out that some people were watching, some racers, and they took notice and they invited me to the camera race. Before that though, I was really slow at leveling, and I really hated leveling. It sucked. Everything sucked. It was painful. I died to everything. I did no damage. And then PvE 3.0 beta came out, and I didn't give a shit because I didn't like leveling in the main game. Why would I level like practice at all? Practicing wasn't really like a common thing that like, you know, any mortal would do. It's just what the racers would do, right? Nobody would practice racing. If you wanted to practice racing, you'd play hardcore and your character died and you'd level again, but you'd have twin gear. Like that was just like, I mean, people would obviously do that for like races and stuff, but when I played like around like Breach League and stuff, you know, what sort of races are you gonna have in Breach League, right? I guess we had a big race season in Legacy League, but there's no way to practice for Descent Champions. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. Basically, I didn't really practice anything, and then I saw a Dead and Doom run on the PvE 3.0 beta, and I was like, holy shit, dude! Not only is this guy zooming, he looks like he's having fun. So I went ahead, I tried to get invited to the beta. I got invited to the beta like the last like couple weekends or something like that. I like spammed run after run in my free time. I talked to Blasting Cap a lot, and so I was telling him about my times, and he's like, yo, Tai Tai, why don't you join my group for League Start? That story is that Blasting Cap, me, and I believe 3 other people played. 2 or 3 other people played, so it was a group of like 4 to 5 of us. Blasting Cap was going to farm normal at Zeri with like War Chief totems. This is like launch of 3.0, by the way. We played with like a couple people. One I think it was just the four of us because I remember that one dude was playing Dark Pact, and I remember that the third guy or the fourth guy, I guess in this case, was not really having the attitude of the guy playing Dark Pact, and the guy playing Dark Pact had no idea what he was doing. By the way, he didn't know any of the mechanics. He didn't know like what unique items you should look for. He didn't really know what was going on. He knew how to play the game, but well, the fourth guy was like pretty fed up, and so like middle of like Act 2 or 3 or something like that, the guy who's going Dark Pact is like, I wonder if I can cast Dark Pact on my teammates and kill them. And he did it on the fourth guy, and fourth guy said like literally like slammed his keyboard and was like, whatever, I'm just gonna go smoke anyways. I'll see you guys next league start. And he just left, dude. And that's me and Blasting Cap and the guy playing Dark Pact, and the guy playing Dark Pact was like, "Yo, Blasting, you should switch to War Chief totems as soon as you get face breakers." And we are like, "Face breakers? Like we're obviously going face breakers, War Chief totems, but it's like immediately." He was like, "Yeah, no, it's fine. Just go face breakers and like a Meginord's belt." We're like, "All right, cool." And we tried it out, and it was awful. Blasting Cap couldn't do anything on his own. I'd literally like hold his hand from like Act 6 onwards because he got baited so hard into it that like he couldn't kill monsters. So like I had to progress with him. So I was in like Act 6 when I would normally kill like the Act 8 Lunar Solaris boss. I was pretty pissed to say the least. But we eventually, worked our way up, killed Ziri, or well, he killed Ziri. The Dark Pact guy left. He didn't take any split. It was a good time. And then I think that was the same league that Blessing Cup got banned for V-Butter. So yeah. Anyways, I have my own guide out for Poison Bee. I don't, but for sure Rutu does. Ruetoo. Rutu. Any recommendations for Ascendant League start? Ascendant League start is basically the same as any other league start, but it's just gonna be slightly worse. You don't have a normal lab. You've got a lot of path nodes to path for. Eventually you'll be better off. If you're just doing Viper Strike assassin memes, which weapon type would I recommend? Probably Claw, but I don't know. I don't know enough. I believe Octavian has some guides on Viper Strike, if I'm not mistaken. You definitely want the poison mod. I can't remember where you get it from. It used to be um, Delph, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know if it's still like that. Elementalist plus Firestorm. Don't. What I'm gonna do when I take all of Ziz's money tomorrow? Well, it's not all of Ziz's money, but a decent amount of it is from Shopify. Shout out to Shopify for not only sponsoring the event. There are a bunch of dudes who actually play PoE as well, so they actually know like what's going on in the event, which is I think is really really cool. Usually for these kind of sponsorships, we just have to like convince some mega corporation to like sponsor like an event, and they don't really know anything. The only thing they know is that their name is getting slapped on with a league, but there's a bunch of cool dudes. They handed me some codes to give out. That'll be cool. So, you don't have to like download Shopify and use it today. Not like sponsored like that, but just shout out to the boys helping us out. What's the meaning of life? I don't think or what's the meaning of life? There's no intrinsic meaning to life. You can find your own meaning, but it's just to do what you enjoy, in my opinion. Do what you enjoy. Eventually, we'll die. Pretty much it. Also not sure if I talked about it, but any crackling landslots? No thoughts really. Ritu? Yep, that's the guy. Sorry for copy pasting. Do I know any streamers that level Caustic Arrow Toxic Rain? I did a Caustic Arrow Toxic Rain Trickster on my Twitch VODs. It's saved on there. I didn't export to YouTube properly, unfortunately. His knife is also good tier, mid tier unique for poison builds. That is true. Yep. Yep, that's right. I don't think I'm gonna take all of his money. I think there's a lot of people that are definitely better at me in endgame races. These kind of races don't really favor me. The like Awakener races. Talking with Virio though, he said that he wants like a lot more longer race formats rather than just like Act 5. But I find these kind of races to be boring and that they gave me from progression. Like it's really easy for me to practice. Like just sit down for an hour, kill like an hour and some change, and do like an Act 5 run, or do a Dominus run in like under an hour, an Act 2 Vol run in like half an hour. Like those kind of things are like fun for me to practice. Like the Method Rush race is really really cool. But we're not gonna see anything like that because of Method, But These kind of race formats don't really benefit me. I've got school. It kind of relies on everything lining up. Um, the Gauntlet in particular, like it wasn't the most inopportune time in the world, but I did have work the next week, right? It's like I can't just play like 16 hours a day for like longer than a few days. I guess in Awakener it's a bit of a different case because Awakener can die in less than a day. It's something you can do in one session, but I haven't practiced the format before, so I'm also not really good at these kind of races. Like I said, or I start beating myself up over it. The plan is to learn, adapt, and overcome, and then beat everybody next time. Any up-to-date minor runs? Not really. Did I pass the exam? You mean the exam that I was really worried about? Yeah, I did actually. I ended up getting a high C on it. I went to play melee, but Earthshatter is not zoomy enough. Any suggestion of other melee builds? Bladestorm's a lot more zoomy. But people racing need to be on the cam the whole time? Has anyone tried to cheat the system? You don't have to be on the cam the whole time. Generally speaking, the best players don't account share, right? Like if anybody account shared, it would be very obvious because we have lots of tools to track that kind of stuff. Not like playtime, but people would put together the dots that the guy on rank 1 on PoE Racing or like PoE Ladder, I don't remember the name of the website. Pretty sure it's PoE Racing. Uh, PoE Racing? PoE Ladder. I think it's PoE Racing. Hang on. Yeah, it's PoE-Racing. People would figure out that the guy on rank 1 on PoE Racing has been pushing like the same amount of XP per hour for the last 37 hours, right? So people would know. There would be a thing. I think it's been an issue in the past, but I don't know any top players currently that account shares. Um, Currently, one of the issues we have with racing is that we don't have like a boss kill like announcement. So if someone were to if someone were to like do like an Act 10 race run, you would have to either enter Oriath or you would have to be streaming. Like everybody would have to be streaming. So they can't track like second or third, right? And if you want to do like an Act 5 Katava, you'd have to either have the person enter the next zone, which is kind of dependent on load screens, or you'd have to make the requirement that everybody's streaming. So, and if you made the requirement that you have to enter Act 6 uh, why can't I remember it? Act 6 line eyes watch, then you can't give prizes out for second or third place. What do you have to focus on first when trying to create a build? Generally speaking, don't reinvent the wheel. Just create like a template of other stuff, in my opinion. You can usually find an idea of what other people are doing and follow similar patterns, and you should have something that good. Could I have my roommate play for me while you sleep or something? That seems like an awful idea because, like, one, my roommate doesn't know how to play PoE. Two, why would I let them play hardcore? Three, even if my roommate was a good hardcore PoE player, um, what would I be able to live with myself if I just woke up and he was dead? You know, he just like killed my character, and I woke up and he's like in Act 3 or something. For if he was good enough, if he was a good enough hardcore PvE player that I trust him with my account to play while I'm asleep, wouldn't he just have his own account? So I don't know how they would catch people doing that. Well, an Awaken 8 race is something that would be done in one session for the most part, so it's not something that I would be worried about account sharing. Two, like I said, um, there is a time and a place that people have to sleep in a 100 race, and if someone doesn't sleep the entire way to 100, that is an obvious sign. It's not obviously a 100 race, but you would know because at some point the XP graph would hit zero. You can do Uber Elder in probably like an insane amount of hours, like something really quick, but at some point it would hit zero, right? So, any good skill options for Jug? EQ Jug? Is the Aziri run of going cremation plus armor brand build not so usable? The reason why I don't recommend it is because I can't really do yellow maps. It's kind of like Orbistorms, like in a way. Like even if you're playing Assassin, which is the best iteration of it in my opinion, you can only really farm white maps, and the reason why you do that is so you can gather early currency. But this build doesn't really transition into most other cool stuff. So anyway, good to learn about how to advance the Atlas optimally. There's a post on Reddit called "How to Advance the Atlas Optimally." I think I don't remember the name of it. I saw it the other day. It's pretty much what I've been preaching for quite a while. I explained it earlier in the stream though. Yeah, you just don't trust people. It's not an issue that's been brought up on the you want to call us the global server, I guess. I know it's an issue on the Chinese server. That was something that brought up in the last China mod race, not this last one. Sorry, the one before the last one. Um, but I've never seen a top player account share. So most of the top players stream. Most of the other top players like know the other top players. So you know, I mean, you can just type in PUB Reddit or just go to the PUB subreddit and just search up like Atlas Guide. You find it pretty quickly. With the ball lighting minor nerf, what would I predict to be the go-to boss killer in League Start? I've got a whole tier list of that on Twitter. Exclamation mark Twitter. What's that? That's the one step-by-step visual guide on the Atlas. Seems right to me. Yeah, that's a strategy that I don't remember where I copied it from, but all I know is it's not mine. So, and then a couple months later, like a league later, it was made into a Reddit post. So, what am I gonna play as a starter? Earth Shadow Champ is the short answer. That's pretty much it. Depot heisting, you can play when I sleep. I'll pass. What's my boyfriend's favorite food? Well, my boy. Wait a second. I don't have a boyfriend. Don't have a girlfriend either. To be honest, I'm not really sure if I would want a girlfriend, even if I did talk to a lot more girls. I don't think I'm a very great partner. I feel like I'm spread too thin across too many different things at the moment between work, school, and streaming. That feels like I'm kind of just half-assing almost everything, or quarter, third-assing everything. Like if I could like focus on one, I would choose streaming, obviously. But I want to finish my degree, and I enjoy my jobs, so you know. Maybe I should just put forth more effort. I think it's definitely doable. My dad worked a lot when he had me at the age of 20, so pretty much did nothing but school and work and school and work, and I don't know how he did it. But I could probably put forth more effort. But to throw a girlfriend in the mix, I feel like I would have no time to really spend with someone else. It's not that they would take up a lot of my time. It's that I wouldn't have a lot of my time to give. I don't feel like I'd be a very good partner in that sense. Is Poison BV noob friendly? Your highest level is like 84ish and you're scared to suck. I'd recommend probably doing like a quick short run through the early acts. What I like to do is I like to have my guide on the side. So if I was a new player for particularly like new games that I play, so this is a methodology I use for new games is I'll watch like a video guide or like read a build guide or something for like let's say I don't know a new game I'm gonna play where I wanna start min maxing. I'll read slash watch the guide, and if you're really a new player, probably none of it's gonna make sense. Very little of it will make sense in all honesty. So you read through it again, it'll make no sense. You should practice it. So like maybe do like an early run. You'll be like, this sucks, but here's all the stuff I learned from it. You don't have to like, document it or anything, but you'll remember for next time. Where's the raid speedrun? You mean like raiding another streamer or like raid Shadowlands speedrun? Don't think of yourself as that. Have asking is totally okay. You don't have to be perfect to have a girlfriend. Um, yeah, I mean that's true. It's not wrong. I just like to think that like if I'm gonna play PoE, if I'm not pushing ladder, then what's the point, right? That's just the way that I like enjoying these kind of things. Like if I'm not popping off, then I'm not having as much fun. It's actually kind of sad that I do miss the days when I could like come home from school, play World of Warcraft. I went from like level 30 to like 30 and a half in like an afternoon. Doesn't even matter, dude. That was a good day. I just had fun. Played for like 8 hours, went to bed 9 p.m. something like that. I don't know, 8 p.m. No clue. Went to go read, hang out with friends, but like I can't do that anymore. I have to like be this efficiency nerd, and that's just like where I get my enjoyment from games. It's hard for me to just intrinsically enjoy a game for like what it is. Hades was pretty fun. You know Wither Totem setup if you're spreading Rot and Blight? No, you don't. You'd rather use Blight Totems in that case. What senses do you Leak Start as a discharge? Probably Assassin. Is Eating Contagion good with Self-Cast? Yep, it was untouched. Since I nerfed Soulslinger, just kind of want to Self-Cast as Eating Contagion? Yeah, it's still perfectly fine. Friend told you to find a guide and follow it to the T. So, appreciate the help. Yeah, no problem. And if you have like particular questions, I can answer it. If it's some like obscure game mechanic though, I might not be able to help. Yep. Spellslinger ED is okay until red maps. Well, I don't think you can go Spellslinger ED till red maps anymore. I think you can only do it up till like, well, even like white maps. Still probably fine up till then. Maybe you could use it more, maybe you could use it less. You get some reservation modes. I don't know what really frees up, to be honest, or what it really looks like, but I think it should be fine. It's a really nice way to level the build and make sure that you can get over that point of eating contagion just feeling really bad. Assassin over Chieftain for discharge? You could play either one, in my opinion. I normally say Assassin is crit, but Assassin's been nerfed and crit's been nerfed. Not really sure. I can't give you a definitive answer, so don't take my word on it. Can't help you with the biggest problem, that's min-maxing. Knowing if an item is good or not, that I think just comes to with time. Yeah, that'll happen. Generally speaking, you'll think of like, does the item have life? Does it have resist? Cool, it's a good item. There's obviously a million other parameters though, but that's like the generic kind of thing. What you can do as a beginner is you can buy like a quad tab, so it's like 4 tabs put together. Price the entire tab at like 15 chaos or like 12 chaos. Throw all your jewelry in it, and you'll get whispers for items. So if you fill it up and you get priced, you get whispered for an item immediately. Wait a few seconds. If you get whispered again, then you underprice the item, and it's actually worth quite a bit more. So you can look into the item and think about like why is this worth a lot. You know, looking at stats of it, be like, oh, okay, this is actually worth a decent bit more. For pricing items, generally speaking, you want to look at an item and be like, is this good or not? Would I buy it? I don't know. Throw it up there for a pretty high price, and then you just lower it over time. So like, I'll price a whole quad tab of jewelry at like 16 chaos or something. Someone will get messaged instantly, so I look at the ring and I go, oh, out of all these, you know, 200 plus rings, one of them is like worth a lot more. Let me grab this. Tell the guy like, sorry, it's already sold. And a few hours later, I'll price it, and I'm like, oh, it's actually worth like 3x. It's kind of a dick move to be honest, but there's no disincentive for it, right? Like they obviously know that they're sniping. Like they are intentionally looking for a very good ring for very cheap. They know that like they're getting a really good deal out of it, so they're obviously going to message, and you get a lot of messages for that kind of stuff. And if you do get spammed with messages, then that means that you mispriced an item. Generally speaking, though, if I put an item up for sale, I get messaged 5 minutes later. I clear the rest of the map. A couple minutes pass by. I'm like, yeah, sure, sorry, I was in a map. You're good, man. I'm not gonna argue with it, right? If I get like bam, 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 you know, I'm gonna take the item out, right? 99% of the stuff you price in the tab is just gonna be garbage, anyways. You just tell them you priced it to that price. Yeah, sometimes I'll just say like, sorry, mispriced, my bad, and I'll push it up again. But, yeah. Here's an interesting thing. Most people don't know this, but sometimes they'll price an item. So let's say you price an item at like 5 chaos. Somebody sometimes will like PM you and like, hey, I'll give you 10 chaos for that item, buddy. And you're like, hey man, that seems good to me. I'm getting twice as much as what I offered. But that is really it's almost like that door-to-door salesman tactic of like, you know, you're getting more value out of what you would have originally wanted, so you're more incentivized to immediately take the offer because it's like, oh, it's here, it's now. But sometimes that has led to people selling an item for way lower than what they thought it was be. They're like, oh, I didn't know it was worth an exalt. The reason why they will PM you and offer a higher price is because they know that the item is actually worth way more. And so they're assuming that a bunch of people are messaging you at the same time. And so to filter out all those other messages, they're just gonna, you know, reduce your hassle and just give you more money than you're willing to pay for it. Every now and again though, someone will misjudge it and they'll be like, hey man, I'll give you 10C for that item. And you'll wait around and you're like, nobody wants the item though. And you'll be like, yeah, sure, 1 second, I'm in a map. And nobody wants the item. And you like price check the item, and you're like, I guess so. Sure, here you go, man. 10C, why not? It happens so rarely though. I don't speak Korean. Sorry, Jichins. Sorry, man. Or J-Couch. A lot of times, if someone underprices what you want, you offer what it's worth. I mean, generally speaking, I'll just PM people for what their prices is listed at. If I like omega scan someone, I feel bad, and so I'll tell them afterwards. And sometimes I'll give them more currency if they're like a new player or something. Like if they're like a 3 challenge Andy, they've got like nothing in their hideout. You know, they clearly have like no MTX and no good gear. I'll just be like, hey man, I'm gonna be honest, I scammed you. Here's what it's actually worth. Here's some extra currency. Just be on your merry way. Just because I can't live with myself because I get scammed a lot as a not a lot, maybe a couple times as a beginner. Felt bad. Any sweaty secrets you learned from Empy's group to make bones? Just play a lot, pretty much. Having a trade is pretty cool. Group clone is pretty cool. They're a bunch of really smart group. Bunch of really smart dudes. There wasn't anything in particular that was like, oh my god, this is insane. Why have I never thought of that? It's basically just like build ideas to them are just like, oh wait a second, this is broken, and they swap around POBs for a bunch, and they're like they're the guys that like figure stuff out, right? Like you think about it, like who are the people like making guides and making content and making stuff to do? Who are the people that are pushing the game to its absolute limit? It's those guys. So is that Korean? Yeah, it's Korean. You self scam. Oh no. Selling Templar, what skills would be good for speed? Or Storm less mine? You should check out either IMXL, IMEXILE. Chip Idiot also did some Templar runs, I think, but I think those were only Act 3 for the relay race. And then Quantric, Quantrik, or Quantric's probably the best resource though. Being a new player, you notice that people are very much like, your fault you got scammed, when they would be disgusted by it IRL. I think that video games, the anonymity of video games, allows for people's real personality to come out. Normally in real life, I'm very sweet and caring and kind individual. However, online that might change quite a bit depending on what league, depending on what game I play. Sorry, didn't mean for that L word to come out. But yeah, you know, like sometimes people just use it as like an outlet, or they just play in a way that they would want to play. If there was a if there was a way to say the mean things that they would want to say to their boss in the real world, I'm sure they would say it, but they can't. So generally speaking, the way that my friendships work is that I realized this in high school actually. Was I started talking to this girl. She's a pretty popular girl too. She's pretty cute, and we started talking. We were just like friends, just like casually. This doesn't evolve anywhere beyond friends, you guys, by the way. We were just like, friends. We'd make fun of people in class. And then I realized that like over time, I was slowly being meaner and meaner to her, but she was just like so nice. And so like I had to like stop. And I was like, wait, no, I went too far. I'm sorry. She would like she kind of like egged it on by like making fun of other people, like the people that were kind of cringe in class, but so kind of incentivized me to be a bit meaner. But I realized that I was like, oh no, I'm being mean to you. There wasn't like a particular story where it's like, oh my goodness, what you just said was awful. But it was just like I remember her face one time. I was just like, see, joke? Are you joking? Like, was that serious? I'm like, no, it was a joke. No, guys, it was funny, you guys. Class bully? No, I'm not class bully, but what do I think about the new league? Pretty good. Pretty good league. Destroy her ego. No, guys, come on. It wasn't meant to be good. I'm doing God's work. Sometimes you have to let people know when they're playing bad. That's right, baby. Yeah. Thoughts on GC Miner? Probably one of the best builds. I was just annoying her because I was friend zone. Well, she was literally dating like one of the footballers, and I didn't want a relationship with her anyways. She seemed giga high maintenance and like I don't know, she just had this RBF just constantly. I didn't really like her. She seemed like psychotic in a way, to be honest. But she was a good friend, at least for that class. Do I watch Worlds? I kind of fall asleep watching Worlds. Every time I try to watch Worlds, I literally like yeah, Worlds. I'm like, damn, an app sounds pretty good right about now. I don't mind watching finals though. Finals are pretty good. 40% damage node or work node on two-handed Zerker first. I think you can go like a mix of both. Like you can get like damage nodes and work nodes around the same time because they're around the same pathing. So speaking of a 3-link body worth, if you have MS boots, if you don't have a 3-link and your build needs a 3-link, then yeah. Some builds don't even need a 3-link. But like if I'm playing a ranger and I can get Caustic Arrow, Pierce, and Mirage Archer together, I'll equip a chest piece for that. I don't know what that means. Worries. Sorry. What does the loot filter say when I'm in green taps like a quest item drops? It says that's power, son. That's power. It's from Billy Harrington, and well, you don't need to know the rest, but YGG told us enlightened support, alternate quality, 60% reduced intelligence requirement. Boys, what build should you play? Exclamation mark Twitter. Got a list over there. Yeah, mines for the 1 millionth league in a row. Do I know the Russian streamer PV Boda? I love Boda, dude. How to rate a skill? If there was a chart of 1 to 10, I would place him at the top at 11. For EQ, do I scale bleed or raw fist damage? I'd recommend scaling the bleed. Obviously, the bleed will scale like somewhat off the physical damage though, so it's kind of both. But I'd recommend going bleed glad. Spellslinger on assassin. What do I think? Not very good for late game, to be honest. But I recommend for fast day 1, 2 pushing. Pretty much everything on my Twitter tier list will be pretty good. You don't want to worry about like the absolute fastest build day 1, day 2. You want to think about like what build is good, and then like from this list of like really good builds, what build should I play? There are builds that are probably better than stuff I listed on the tier list, but there's obviously a lot of stuff that's worse. So, you know, you don't have to use my tier list as the gospel. Any good perforate builds for duelist? Yeah, you could go perforate. Why am I answering this question? It's a good question. What do I think the best zoomer build is once you get Headhunter this league? Headhunter generally scales better or the best with projectile builds. What that projectile build would be, I'm not sure. Maybe Ice Shot. PB for my racing build? Nope. I do not. You can just copy into my profiles though. I've got plenty of characters. What do you think about self-casting Blazing Salvo? No thoughts really. What's the thing I'm most uncomfortable with in PoE? Probably longer races. Like I said before, I don't have much time to like play in longer races, and like a 100 race makes me feel really uncomfortable. Generally speaking, on here, 5K. I tried no witnesses. I mean, you could just message me on stream, man. He's talking about the node that gives you elusive. It's too far away to really be impactful in like most racing scenarios, but yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, generally speaking, just like a shadow node, in my opinion though. Any build reviews? Not really. As far as coaching is concerned, I'm only gonna coach a couple people tomorrow, namely like Cute Dog and one of a long time subscriber. Well, maybe not long time, but he's been around quite a bit. He's been in the racing scene a little while, and he just wants some help. We played against each other in the gauntlet, and so he wanted some advice and stuff. For IceQT, he's still up for racing. I can do that. Literally, like the last like 3 leagues where I said he was gonna get coaching from me, and then he's like, "Oh, it's kind of late for that now, don't you think?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I mean, you're the one who said you wanted to, so." I like to wait close to professionals. What's the thing I'm most comfortable with in PvE? Early game races, I guess. Race winner prediction. Probably Lighty. I guess Starkey. Other than that, Pee Wee Dan. Other than that, the Ventura. Isn't Jug better than Champ? No. Blade Blast versus Blade Vortex. They're both like high gear requirement builds. LS sub? I don't remember if anybody actually gave me a gifted sub to LS. They did not. That is sad. I went over to LS to stream and I was just shitposting for an hour. But I had to go like leave. A lot of people recognize me. Like a lot of people recognize me. I was really surprised actually. I feel like stacking Intensify is gonna be ass. And Arc is gonna be better than Crackling? Well, I mean, if crackling is bad, then you always just switch over it. Have a good stream. Which league starter I choose? Earth Shatter Champ. DC is good for start. What do you think? Yep. Waggle? Yeah, I'd place money on Waggle too. I mean, I wouldn't place money on anybody because anything could happen in a like a race where the pressure is on. Like it's kind of like putting money on a zero race. Like you have like midnight RNG, right? And if you get everything like right away, ideally your build can handle all the new content that you're doing, right? Like a like ideally, if your build gets into red maps, you can do red maps, right? That would be like the best build to play. But in hardcore, like that can lead to like a lot of sketchy situations. So you know, if you're not playing like the peak of your game, anything could happen. You know, you could DC, you could rip. Similar to an Inziri race, you know, you could pack a loss, you could not find a midnight, not find a really good red maps, stuff like that. How do you get more consistent sub 40 Act 2 runs? Your Bleed Bow Gladiator. Um, to be honest, Bleed Bow Glad, you're just gonna have to suffer through the slower times, to be honest. If you're doing 40-minute Act 2, though, there's nothing to worry about. Um, in all honesty, you're doing fine. Keep up the good work. I think Renekton R5 is a good pick. Alright, dude. On the Ranger run, to go Tornado Shot, what stats should you prioritize on buying a bow on day 1, 2? It's gonna be mostly like flat elemental, yeah. Most Tornado Shot builds are like using Wind Ripper, right? So you'd want that in most cases. But Darky and others will go for Adziri race. So the reason why I go for the Adziri race is because I think that you are not going to win the Adziri race unless you play something specifically for the Adziri race, or at least it was that way. It's that way now. Before I started practicing for the Adziri race on stream and showing Exile and Chip what I was doing, it pretty much just looked like nobody else is going for Adziri. Everybody's going for a Weekend or 8. I can collect some free coin. I was like, hey, it's free money. And they're like, hey, wait, I'm just playing against Tight, yo, free money. So this says he drinks 6 to 10 Red Bulls in the sort of league. How many did I drink? Probably the same amount, but in water. The Elk merch sold out. Yeah, you should have bought it when it was available. Like I did. Always wanted to play a GC build, but Discharge looks so good as well. Decisions. Good luck with that. Got an X1 to 10 Toxic Rain PUB. I'm sure there's plenty of PUBs available. Or Zombie's still good. They're still going to be bad early on for leveling, but you know, you can just go Onslaught. Maybe Onslaught's a bad word. A whole slew of different minions. If you're not following me, please ban you. I don't. You can follow, unfollow, whatever, you know. Don't have to like shower me in love or anything. There's been plenty of times where like I'll go to a stream and I'll like type in their chat like a million times. Guys, I wasn't baiting follows. But like, I've talked to people's chat for like literally like every day for like half a month, and it's like I'm too nervous because it'll show up like thanks for following Tight Killer, and like I have been following this whole time. And it's like, ooh, that's gonna be an awkward conversation. I don't go through like every viewer and be like, you're not following. What do you think you're doing here, huh? No, if you're not subscribed, no. Kidding, of course. What a sense would I choose for crackling lights? No clue. I'm not very good at those kind of questions. Keep getting 21 to 22 minutes for both Act 1 and 2. Any tips to shave down more time? You really want to make sure that your town trips are very fast as you can possibly make them. Have everything planned out beforehand. And then also, I imagine that your XP management can be a bit better, so make better decisions, killing packs and stuff. Followage. 8 months. Paul Grazoo, dude. Cell's been following me for a year and 2 months. Avi's been following me for a year and 3 months. Year and 1 month. Yeah, I mean, the bot is kind of bugged. Alright. 8 months. Damn, dude, look at all these old lads. 8 months, 3 weeks. 6 days? Wait, why does it just keep going? Oh, they all keep going. I just read it the wrong one. 3 months, 3 months. Yeah, a lot of long time boys here. Here's on what Riven Blade's at. How long have I been following you? Well, I'm not a stalker, so. A year and 3 months? 6 months? 6 months? Sorry, it's just entertaining. I have a friend who's like, he's like literally from like the start of my account. Like it's like the start date of my account, and then like a few days later he followed me. So that's because it's because of Diablo 3 days back in high school. Alright, now everybody's using the command and it's dying. Worst part about Act 1 is sorting your gems and inventory after Title and Brutus while on the move. The cool thing about that is that it's only like 3 minutes into the run, right? And so you could always practice that just exclusively. And if you're not muling like Onslaught on Witch or something, or like a bow and Caustic Arrow on like a Shadow from Ranger, then you could always just, you know, start a new character and practice doing that and just do that like 10 times. You'll be really good after that. To go challenge charges with Two-Handed Glad? I'd say yeah, probably. Alright, now I'm not even paying attention to these. I haven't seen anything longer than like a month and 6 days. Follow me for 2 minutes. Paul Z, dude. Badass. There was one guy who actually unfollowed me and then refollowed me like 10 times to try and get exclamation mark followers to say that it followed me for 0 seconds. And then he regretted it because he was one of my longest followers, and now he didn't have like the 2 years or whatever that he had. Like the paste bin, I'm not gonna look at that though. You know, don't follow and then refollow because you will lose your like year-long streak. It doesn't keep track of that, obviously. I tried Poison BV. I haven't tried it. I just went like a generic like Caustic or Toxic Rain. It was like, oh, here are the other options that I could take because it's a poison build, and then I had the Ziz Awakener race announced, and I was like, oh, I gotta go practice for that now. Here I am helping out the boys, but the reason why I say I don't have enough time for practicing like minions or practicing poison PV is it's not just the 4 hours or so that the run takes me. It's the 10 hours of practice that the run takes me to do in practice, and then the hours that I sit in POB trying to say like, at this level range I hit this passive point on this boss, and therefore it's better to go here. On this stage of the campaign I felt like I lacked damage on this run, so let's go ahead and do another run. Let's go to Act 3 and then consider the different passive options we have. Oh, instead of pathing like this I could have taken this. So there's a lot more hours that go into those runs rather than just like the 4 hours. I don't want to just like slap some run together. It's just some sloppy mess of like a 5-hour run, and I'm just like, yeah, sure, you know, that's good enough to put on YouTube. Other people can copy that. When am I coaching Malice? Maybe tomorrow, actually. That sounds like fun. But like, I feel like Malice doesn't even need that much help in early game, to be honest. The thing with coaching that I've noticed is that anytime someone gets coached, like ever on anything, they always play worse than they usually do. Like no matter what the game. Which new skill gem is better for lesser than heist? I'm not sure. How long is it gonna take to Awakener 8 with Poison BV? That is more dependent on how fast you are progressing through Atlas than the build that you're using to get there. Someone reminds you of that time you had 180 million points in Tuna's chat and then you gambled all. I want you guys to take a look at something actually. If I go to Cute Dog stream, so there was actually a bug on Cute Dog stream with points where you could gamble all your points, but instead of gambling your own points, you could gamble other people's points. And so people gambled my points and they won twice in a row or like 3 times in a row or something like that. And so if I go over to Cute Dog stream, which she's streaming practice right now, sorry, this is stealing content, but if I type exclamation mark points, exclamation mark leaderboard, you can see that I have like 4 times as much as the next guy. I have 25 million and Achilleo has 6 millions. It's like literally not even close. Alright, I can't stick around in Kito's chat. I'm yonking too much content. But anyways, I have 25 million and second place is like 6 million. And it's only because I never spend any of my points. The reason why oh, the cam was hiding it? Oh, sorry. Here, let me go and show you guys. Oop, oop. Why does it always break? I hate the new Twitch with like chat. Here you go. Yeah, if I type leaderboard, you can see that I have 25 million. The next is like 6 million, 5 million, 3 million. There's Tuna with like 3 million. Well, like no one's even close because someone gambled all my points. I'm not gonna gamble again, obviously. I actually had a friend who had like the gambling thing enabled in his stream. Now I have it in my stream, but I'm thinking of removing it. It's kind of cancer when people start gamble lolling like they are right now. But I basically came to the conclusion that like you're never gonna win on a gamble. The only way you ever win, um, even if your odds are like in your favor, like let's say you had like a 55% win rate on like a slot machine or something, or like a roulette wheel. Over time you'll win. However, if you keep doing the strategy of like I'll gamble a small amount. If I lose that, I double it. If I lose that, I double it. There have been numerous times where I'll double it 12 times in a row and I'll lose every single time. And if you keep doing that forever, there will be a reality in which you lose like 300 times in a row. Now, it's super unlikely, obviously, but you're never going to win like every single time, and you're never going to always win that sequence of events. I realized that like if I wanted to like almost guarantee how many like times I would win, I'd gamble like 1 point. And at that point it's not worth it. And so I decided, okay, the best strategy is to save all my points, never gamble them away. And then after like many hours, when I'm like rank 2 or something compared to other people, um, I will gamble all. So what'll happen is that usually in people's chat there will be like a bot that's rank 1, and then I am at like rank 2 because I've watched for many hours. Um, Only until the point where I gamble all and take over the bot by a margin or something like that would I ever gamble all. Otherwise, it's not worth it. You will like almost always lose. You'll lose like 50 points. You'll lose like 60.
Came in
Yo,
prepared.
cute dog. We're just answering questions and stuff, talking about a point system. Yo, what questions do you have, cute dog? And hi everybody from Cute Dog's chat. My name's Tactical. I do PvE speedrunning. I'm speedrunning questions, and we got on the topic of gambling all and stuff. And so I wanted to show everybody that I have an insane amount of points on Cute Dog stream because of a bug that let people gamble my points. You have a question? Oh boy, here we go. It's about coaching. I think win streak and such will be changed to hex skills AoE. Most likely, I can see them being changed to mark instead. What's the point of practicing while logging out if you'll get put in queue on league start day? If you exit to character select, this will put you in here. So it'll put you in your character select, obviously, because you exited character select. This doesn't put you in queue. If you exit to title screen, so this screen right here, it will put you in queue. So that's why. Is Impending Doom and Hexblast gonna suck? I don't know enough to answer that question. You'd be better off asking someone else. Sorry. I don't know how much it's gonna suck or if it's gonna be good, but I generally don't like to play new stuff. Yeah, you can also use /exit if you want to use the logout macro instead of like exiting character select. Skipped your question. I skip a lot of people's question. Does Bone Chill work with Ellie Focus? Don't believe so. On a utility cold snap setup. That I don't know. It shouldn't work because it can't apply chill in the first place. What am I going? What build am I going for league start? It's gonna be Earth Shatter Champ, but I'm playing some version racing build to kill Zeri. How would I level Blade Flurry plus Blade Blast Assassin early? I would go Orbital Storms, Stormblast Mine. I've got a VOD on my Twitch. Now it's pre multi nerf and pre assassin nerf that's coming up. So take that as you will. But basically just farm white maps until you have some really nice gear. Why did I vote you off for not doing keys? Because keys are a common task. If you play Among Us, the first 2 tasks are going to be common tasks typically, assuming you have 2 common tasks. And so everybody will have those tasks. So if you're an imposter, you will fake those tasks or you just won't do them. And so if you see everybody doing a common task, except for one person, you should know that that person is an imposter. So that's why I voted you off, sir. Now it's super metagame, it's super tryhard. It's stuff like that that I called out that are part of the reason why Empyrean Gaming doesn't actually enjoy playing Among Us. I kind of sweated a bit too hard with a few of the other versions, you know? Super tryhard is cringe, but I think that super tryhard is also a lot more fun if you want to win the game. I don't know. It's more fun to win the game. Now I'm not gonna like, you know, do any tactic available that I can to win an Among Us game. However, I have had my fair share of Among Us games where I've said like, I swear on my mom's life I'm not the imposter, and then it was the easiest imposter game of my life, baby. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, mom. But anyway, yeah, we sweated him out. I feel bad for it, but do I know a command to update the loot filter instead of going to the menu and clicking the update button? No, I do not. There's a chance that not everyone has keys has seen it. Yeah, but right off the bat, you will like start in the drop ship, if not like slightly below it, and so you'll know like keys is right here. it doesn't make sense to come back here like way later on in the round into the dropship when everybody's already in the dropship. Have I looked at alternate quality gems? No, not really. But mom, nope. High school tactics? Hey, do what you gotta do to win, right? Don't watch much, but do I look at changes differently since I speedrun the campaign? I look at changes differently, but I don't like putting out like an hour or two long video of like me reacting to everything. The TLDR, me looking at the patch notes is like, yeah, pretty good. Everything kind of makes sense. Exclamation mark Twitter, and I have a tier list over there, so the answer to most of my questions. Does projectile damage affect ignite damage? Like if the projectile hits harder, will it be bigger net? I want to say yes, but I can't answer with super confidence. There's a chance 7 of the crew have keys and 1 has a different common test. No. Either everybody has keys or nobody has keys. Either everybody has card or nobody has card. I've gotten people before where I've said like, no, nobody say anything, but who did card here? And I'll point out someone who I thought did card. And I'm like, you did card, right? And they're like, yeah, I did card. I'm like, hey, nobody has card, baby. It's a common test. Yo, get screwed. Not true. See, the mutton chops might return. You're not wrong. So my loot filter automatically update when they show up in PoE? Yep, that's why I made them filter blade. It's the Ventura. Yep. I think this new and rework of steel skills will provide a viable league starter. Maybe not for a speedrun, but for a decent build probably. Even if it's awful and it's the worst thing you've ever played, it's not that hard to respect. Projectile damage doesn't affect ailment damage. That's why I didn't want to say with confidence. Is my melee filter one hand or two hand? I believe one hands are green and two hands are red. You're better off editing the melee filter though, to be honest. I like specialize mine to like basically like I get to a point where I just go two hand and then just use that filter. I specialize my filter so that I never pick up a div card that I don't want to pick up. It took me like an hour though because I had to go on the wiki and stuff. Where do you find the timer? It's called W split, like George W. Bush. How am I doing? Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little tired. It's 2 a.m. I would say Archmage, Arcanist is better than new Lancing skill. I don't know the answer to that question. Never played it or seen anybody. Yeah, I mean, you should always just trust POB numbers. If you make a change in POB and the number doesn't go up, you could typically trust that pretty well. Surprised ED didn't get nerfed? Not really. I don't think ED is like. I mean, maybe ED is a part of the problem, but I think Trickster itself is like part of the problem. I think nerfing Necromancer and not nerfing Trickster is like just XD. I don't know what else to say. Just rolled a +1 to socket gems on staff, but PvDB doesn't show any such mod +1 staff. What gives? Like +1 to all spell gems? That should be different. I think a lot of us are just switching out to ED last minute. Hey. Yeah. A lot of cool stuff going on in chat there. Cheesed out. Before I make the same mistake, does my range filter show the lion? Oh yeah, you were the guy that played like my range filter, and then you like switched to like my melee filter or something, and like you were upset that the line didn't show up. A few people said that. Um, the range filter should show the line. I remember I did a run and like for like 5 mud flats, I was like, wait a second, is the line even on this filter? So I changed it. +1 level socket gems. Might be a like a specific mod from somewhere else. I'm not sure. Don't answer that. How do you level fast with bad ZDPS attack skills? Instead of thinking about how to go fast, you think about how to make the leveling experience more smooth. And so you think about like, how can I get a weapon upgrade at a certain threshold? So you look on the wiki and think about like, when does my next upgrade happen? And what do I do the next vendor recipe for that? Papegaphone, Quicksilver MP3 doesn't work. You didn't install the sounds properly. Will I update my filters for League Start? With them being on Filter Blade, they'll automatically update. Trickster has always tricked us into thinking the witch was OP. Well, I mean, even if like the ES part of Trickster was nerfed, people would just go hybrid, right? Talked about it earlier, but I like hybrid, but lots of people argue that CI is better. A lot of smarter people, I should add, say CI is better. So I think CI is better, but I think it's a bit different now that we're not in Harvest anymore. I think Harvest like enabled the easiest switch over to CI in your life, but now it's a bit more difficult. Non-CI Trickster is balanced, yeah. Looks pretty good. Without Harvest. Yep. Like, I don't know, I like going hybrid. Something about recovering life and ES, that's pretty cool. Yellow Mines is still the king of single target? Not really. Like the AoE change is like really huge. If it's just a damage like numeric difference or decrease, it wouldn't be that bad, but losing AoE as well means that if it literally like hits less often on a boss, especially like larger bosses, and it does less damage on top of that, then it's pretty big. Would you use a relative path to your MP3 folder? People have brought up like instead of having like a million sound files and just throwing them on your PE file to use a directory, that would take so much time for like I could put them into a directory or like a file of their own. The issue with it is that I would have to rename the file path to find the sounds in all the filters, not just the caster one. I would have to redo it for melee and range because it would mess with the settings. GC minor comeback? Probably, yeah. Worst case scenario, you just switch to a different mine, right? Someone needs to create an AI that's just Act 1 to 10 runs with every PvE skill in the game. Havoc has talked about this before, and I've shown my interest in this before, but I don't think we're getting like a deep mind AI or anything like that, like they use for like Dota. I think that'd be super cool though, because we have like finite time and finite runs and finite brains, right? Havoc said before that PoE players aren't very good at inventing things. They're very good at copying things, and I think that's pretty true. I'm guilty of that as well, as most of my things are pretty much just copy pasted from other people. There's a few strategies that I'm like, what if I just did this? Like using Armageddon brand wasn't something that I copied from someone else. It was just something that I just threw together. It was a strategy that other people had at the same time. You know, me and Chip came together and were like, hey, this strategy's pretty good. We didn't like collude or anything. It's just naturally we found that it was a pretty good skill, but I'll bet you there's probably a skill out there that can go even faster. We just don't know about it. Give me free pizza, and then we can run them for 1,000 Act 1 runs. I'm a college student. You're probably not too far off. What's the best way of approaching a 6th link without previous characters with tabula, etc.? Volsider is a really good, like starting at level 50, I think. Not certain if that's how 6 areas of Volsiders work, so I don't want to say with confidence, but you can just pop like fragments, like sacrifice fragments in the map tab or stuff like that. Resonance is a tier 2. You could farm BA if you wanted to. You could buy one with the colors you want, so farm it. What build was starting? Earthshatter Champ, like a Virgin build starting off. I think Frostblade's Raider is any good. Not for a new player, no. Generally, it's new players that play stuff like that. They get to endgame and they realize that they need like some quadrillion damage PDPS foil to do the endgame, like bosses. So generally don't recommend it unless you are making it as like a second character or something. But Domino's voucher strat. You know, I actually had a friend who would give me pizza cards to Pizza Hut because his dad worked for Pizza Hut, and I would give him spreadsheets that I worked on for Diablo 3, and I'm like, here's the newest spreadsheet I'm making up. Here's all the stuff for like all the new skills and stuff, and all the new sets and stuff like that. And so he gave me like a pizza card every time, like every league start and stuff. And we just like talk strats, and it was really cool. And I remember because I didn't use a single pizza card until like college, and I just had like this stack of pizza cards of like 15 pizza cards. And so like all freshman year, I just like order a pizza like every other weekend, and it was just the coolest thing ever. So real world pizza trading, you're not wrong, dude. Get a level in Orb Storms, Wave of Conviction, Lightning Spire Trap, and then cast and crit. I don't recommend Lightning Spire Trap. I recommend using Stormblast Mine early. Lightning Spire Trap was nerfed pretty heavily. If you want a really strong single target, you'll go Cremation with like self-cast. Like you'll cast Desecrate on the ground, use Cremation, greater multiple projectiles, Control Destruction, and Elemental Focus. Am I surprised how strong Path of Mass starter build is? Well, I mean, Ball Lightning just got nerfed by a pretty decent amount. Path of Mass makes some really good videos though. I like his content a lot. He's kind of got the dampen thing going on though, where he has a pretty big mouth. But, you know, I have a pretty small, quiet mouth where I don't really speak my mind about other people that much. I don't feel too strongly about anybody except for one person in particular, but that is like super duper top secret kind of stuff. Like it would be way too messed up to like say anything about that. So one person. Now who do you think? Any tips on leveling Scion till Act 3? You should watch Snap OW. Snap OW has some Scion leveling guides and stuff like that. Why melee over casters? Just to switch from the usual U? I talked with Havoc, and he was like, Tata, here's the thing, right? You keep playing these races, your character disconnects, you die immediately. You know, for people with bad internet, or people that are just like aren't comfortable with hardcore, you need to build with like a regen, with some juice on it. He was like, you can keep playing casters if you want, but you're gonna keep dying. I was like, I was actually thinking the exact same thing. Like, before the gauntlet race, I was like, I want to play the ED Contagion build, but if I DC for whatever reason, or I just like get hit once, I'm like dead. So I have to play like pretty much perfectly on these like super in-game fights. So, and then I was just like, you know what? Let's just go Earth Shatter instead. Looks way tankier instead. I know you guys like want to say drama and everything like that, but it generally is like, it's like super unfair to like really bring it up. It's like Dr. Disrespect. It's like, I know what happened to Dr. Disrespect level of like, I'm not gonna leak that. I like seeing everybody come up with different theories though. Havoc gave me the old Italian mob guy dad version of how to improve your weaknesses. I mean, Havoc's always helped me out. Havoc and I meme a lot. We talk a lot of trash. Got a bit of an ego. I think Havoc's one of my favorite people to talk to. He's just smart. I feel bad talking to Havoc because it always feels like I have less to offer than he does. It's like we're doing a group project and I'm like, hey, here's this idea that I came up with. And he's like, oh, I had the same idea actually. I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, I had that idea like 3 weeks ago at the start of the project, idiot. I'm like, oh, yeah, you know. I swear I didn't copy you. You know. And he's like, huh, what a coincidence. Very funny. Yeah, you know, whatever. Still gonna put your name on the group project, but whatever. You know. It's like, no, no, I swear, I wasn't even paying attention. And he's like, okay, that's probably true, dude. That's probably true. No, he doesn't, yeah, I mean, he doesn't call me names or anything. It's just like, you know, when you're talking to someone and you're like, this person provides less value as a human being than I do, and that says a lot about what kind of person this is. It's kind of like that. Have I ever done porn? No, and I don't plan to. Redemption Sentry's still good. Should be okay. I don't like how it got nerfed in like numerous different ways though. It's pretty bad. Fucked up. I mean, I don't like look at people and I'm like, what is your value as a human being? But it's like, come on, dude. Like, all you had to do was like put in like an hour for this project. Instead, you like literally did nothing for it, and you went and smoked weed with your friends. Like, come on, man. You could have done anything, and it would have been better than what you did. So, Rainverse Berserker is still viable for Magic Find. It's more of like a group play build, really. What lightning skill would I recommend for leveling wands at level 12? Recommend Arc. I mean, you could go Orb Storms and Arc. It's pretty cool. I would stick with Orb Storms because I'm comfortable with it, but honestly, it's become weaker and weaker over every single league, and so if you're not comfortable with it, you should probably just play whatever you feel most comfortable with. Make sure you have the Wand Craft at level 8 though, and then 2 at level 20. Stop. Cool, thanks. Yeah, no problem. No, it's not Ricardo. Hmm. Will I win the race for you? Maybe not for you. Win it for myself. Prove that I can do it. Be cool to get my revenge on it, Ziri. I don't think I'm gonna have a run like I did today, though. So worth going Stormblast Mines into switching off to Spellseeker. You're better off just going Toxic Rainbow. The respec is gonna be a lot more painful if you don't level his bow. You can watch my Chaos Singer guide, but it's gonna be with different links. I went over this before, but Stoles from Venturous or from Carve. You have Spell Singer, Essence Drain, Soul Rend, Void Manipulation in the same links. Then in another link, you just go Spell Singer and Contagion together. Good starter spells build if you've never played spells in your life. Check out Enki Arc Witch, ENKI Arc Witch. Not comfortable with Oos that much, so I'd probably do test runs with Arc and Stormbrand. I mean, you don't have to like spam runs, but you could do like one run is one run is the other, and be like, damn, that one was so much better than the other one. So, Steel Mage versus Tight Die, who will win? For Zeri, I'll win almost every time. Unless I die, which is pretty likely. If it's literally anything past that, Steel will win 100%. So, and like you would probably agree with that. Like Steel's not going to beat me in an Act 5 race, and I'm never going to beat Steel in a 100 race. It's just a fact. I think the Flame Wall shenanigans will be enough to give Fireball enough single target to comfortably push Conquerors. No clue. Fireball generally struggles with single target. What's going on here in the chat? The thing Havoc's trying to teach Cheta isn't speed, is patience. It's true. I mean, he is trying to teach you speed though. He's talking about unlocking my potential, and I agree with him. I don't know, Havoc's not like the Steve Jobs, success. Do you want to work from home, make millions, like I do? Follow my plan. You know, Havoc's just like genuinely got some good advice. Never like any ill intent there. Hey, Dad, I never found any race leveling guy for a minion build. Someone made one a few days ago. Not a few days ago, it's like a few weeks ago. On like how to do like Act 1 as a Spectre Summoner. I can't remember who it was though. In my opinion though, you just want to go, no wait, no, they leveled as skeletons, which I disagreed with. I think going minion instability with Summer Raging Spirits, Infernal Legion or whatever that support gem is, a level 8. Minion damage be switched out with like faster casting at level 16 is pretty good. Havoc isn't an ass like Steve Jobs is though. Havoc is the dad we all wish he had. True. My starter build? Earth Shatter champ. Question: why don't I coach Cute Dog? It takes him 2 hours to get the ledge. There's a big difference between like him actually needing help and him farming content. We talked about him getting coaching again, but I don't know how beneficial it'd be. I want to make sure that people getting coached are actually going to get a benefit from it. I think that $75 for 2 hours is kind of a scam for what you get, and in all honesty, I like coaching, but I feel like it's not as beneficial as like either me practicing or them just watching VODs, like in a way. I'm probably gonna raise it for $100 for 2 hours instead, because I get a lot of requests and I prefer to get less requests. To be honest, a lot of people think they need coaching, but what they really just need is to do a couple more runs. You know, do a couple more watch a couple more YouTube videos or something like that. You know, and most people starting off, like it's kind of like you want to go to the gym and you want to make sure you're doing things right, but just by doing anything, you're doing something better than just being at home and just eating croutons, you know, out of the bag. Speaking from personal experience here, but how big of a difference is it from taking Saboteur instead of Assassin for easier respec when getting to maps? Um, if you're playing a mine build, you just want to level up his mines instead. How is Rework Firestorm? In my eyes, I sure just left it as it was, I think. But that team viewer you run, nope. Tai doesn't want to help me. No, I think it's a scam for most people. If you're still on for coaching tomorrow, I'm down. But I think that a lot of people benefit more from you know more practice stuff like that. Like I think a lot of people don't need coaching. It's fun. It's fun talking with the dog though. And tips for dealing with nerves during a race: usually make a ton of stupid mistakes if you're nervous. Uh, practice, and then practice some more. I struggle with nerves quite a bit as well. Um, what usually happens to me is I'll practice more than I've ever practiced before for like a race. Like I practiced for XL like a ton. Like I was in New Zealand and I turned down plans with people so I could go to the like net cafe and practice. And then I was like, okay, I've practiced enough to the point where like I don't have to worry about the race because I know that I can trust in my practice. Before the race, I felt super confident and I felt pretty good. And then for some reason, like I got on the computer, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so nervous, you know. And like my mouse felt off, the keyboard felt weird. Um, I should have just brought my own setup. I was already too worried about too many things getting messed up that I didn't want to bring my own setup and then have it like be broken, and then I come back home and it's broken. Was the main thing because I was flying pro seas and I didn't even know like how an airport worked. I just kind of like it's been years since I've been on an airplane, in all honesty, and it was just like, all right, I'm gonna sit on my Game Boy or my 3DS or not 3DS. It would have been a normal DS at the time. Just follow mom around the airport until we do what we do. So going to the airport was like, oh my god, what do I do? So I was just trying to figure everything out. There's so many things that could have happened between me going to the race and actually like messing up. But walking to the city, you didn't walk to the city, dude, from the airport. That would have been crazy. I tried it. Okay, so I actually tried to walk from the like the airport in New Zealand. It was like the Auckland airport or whatever. But it was over this bridge, and the bridge didn't have any way for pedestrians to cross it, and the bridge was like over a mile long, which would have been fine. I was just gonna carry my suitcase with me because it was like a 20-minute walk from the airport to the bridge. I was like, I can't walk across this. This is impossible. So I went back and had to fix a bunch of issues with my card because my card wasn't working for like the first hour or so. Me and Havoc should race at ExoCon, but like running race, winner gets free training lessons. Is that a thing when people do running? I don't know. I'm excited for next ExoCon, assuming there's gonna be one. Will Hexbacks be good? Not sure. Can't offer you know exact advice if I don't know exactly if it's gonna be good or not. Other people are gonna be smarter at making decisions like that. You made the most during Harvest than any other league. I mean, some people, despite me ragging on about Harvest not being that enjoyable, some people will still find Harvest to be the most enjoyable league, right? Um, and I can't say that they're wrong for thinking that. I think that some people think it's a good league, some people don't think it's a good league. I think deterministic crafting is really good, and I hope we see a system like that. I just hope we don't see the garden again. Hopefully, you can afford the tickets to the next ExoCon. It's definitely the best experience of my life, I would say. So, Harvest was dope. You learned a lot. Yeah, I would check in your progress every now and again, Soulpole, and sometimes it'd only be like for a couple of minutes or so as I like scroll down like the list of people I'm following. I'm like, yo, this guy's actually kind of blasted, dude. Thinking about like last league when I was like, Soulpole, please put in the map search. And now it's like, yo, he's zooming, dude. Yo, he knows what's going on here. He knows what's up. All he knows is the first 6 hours of Harvest, he was just looking at the league mechanic and falling asleep. That's pretty much what I was doing. The whole first 2 days of the league mechanic, I was like looking at it and trying to figure it out. And I was like, no, guys, this will be fun. It'll be great. It's gonna be the best league. I gotta craft the best items. And I was like, I just don't give a shit, man. So yeah, I quit the league really early. I called it as being probably better to play Soul Self-Found, and I should have played Soul Self-Found. To be honest, this should have been a hardcore Soul Self-Found league. Um, because even if my internet goes out, I could craft good enough gear to like hopefully survive it or something like that. Our brand's a little garbage for Soul Self-Found hardcore. It's just that they're a bit strange. I don't think they're complete garbage. I think they're possible. They're just better options. pretty hopeful that heist is gonna be fun. I mean, heist isn't harvest, and for me that's good enough, right? Your last question, as you need to go to work. How detrimental do I think starting a trade software league 1 hour late is? Not that detrimental. You know, if you get the maps in 5 hours, there's still plenty and plenty of people who won't get the maps in the 6 hours that it takes you. Assuming that you're like an hour late. You'll obviously beat yourself up over it. However, you get an advantage of being able to check information of like the new league. Like an incursion, there was someone who got a headhunter from like the storage room or whatever, and we could glean some more information, right? Can you league start as cast on crit Ice Nova? I did that back in Metamorph League. I played Orb of Storms, Stormblast Mine, Wave of Conviction, Assassin, but that was before before crit multi nerfs on the tree, before the assassin multi nerfs that are coming up. The VOD of me leveling an assassin Orb of Storms build is still on my Twitch to this day. Alright, have a good day at work, Sour Cream. I'm not gonna click the YouTube video. Opinion on anime weapon. I don't think it's that good, to be honest. Like, they're way better minions and stuff. Is it possible to reduce the cooldown of discharge / to recast it faster? There's supposed to be a threshold jewel that makes it so that it performs similar to how it performs right now. You can also use second wind, I assume, since this is a cooldown skill. You're gonna level an occultist for the first time ever in heist. How should you level one quickly? Like a dot occultist, like a curse bane, or like hex whatever occultist. I can't say with confidence as far as what's best. I'm really tired actually. Sticker Summoner, you reach maps in 8 hours. With how much practice time can you approximately hit the 5-hour marks? I don't know. I answer questions like that because it's like, how many hours do I need to study in a class to get an A on the final exam? Well, if you're in a math class and you're really good at math and everything already makes sense to you, then maybe you only need like a couple hours of studying to get an A. However, if you're like a normal person, you kind of sort of understand what's going on. You just need some things to solidify it. Maybe you need a couple hours for a couple nights, every now and again. There's no definitive answer that I can give you. Do you suck at math and you don't know what's going on at all? Like for my last tax exam, for example, I realized that I didn't really understand anything that was going on in the class at all. So I had to go back to chapter 0, not even chapter 1, but I had to go back to chapter 0 to relearn everything from scratch because I just didn't get it. Yeah, if you're doing that, you need a lot of time, right? So, A's are easy, right? Just say I. Alright, dude. Totems, yay or nay? Well, they're on the tier list I made on !Twitter, so yeah, it's so. Damn, that hits home. I've been studying 6 to 8 hours a day for my Calc 3 exam. In my opinion, 6 to 8 hours is probably a little bit more than necessary. I think your studying sessions should be more intensive, but should be either spread a little bit more out or just like for less time. Would be my opinion. Aspect of Chaos or the Zoo Shield? Not sure. Heist has some nice, cool maps and bosses. It feels like you need to be tanky. Which classes do I think would excel in heist maps? I mean, you could play a build that's not tanky if you're in softcore and you feel confident in your ability to survive. If you're playing softcore, it's fine if you die for a few maps. That's not a problem. Unless you push in 100, I guess. But generally speaking, melee has a lot more defensive layers than other like casters and rangers and stuff. You just level occultist with Stormblast Oost, then respecting the new Hexblade / Doom later. You could just try playing the new Hexblast / Doom if you want. One of the issues with playing new stuff like that though is that there's not really an out. So when I say stuff like GC mines will be fine, and even if they're bad, you can switch to other things. GC totems will be fine. If they're bad, you can switch to other things. But if you go specifically like super hard on like curses, what do you do if it's bad? So generally speaking, I don't like choosing stuff like that. Opinion on Redemption Sentry nerf. I think it got nerfed in a lot of different ways, and generally I don't like things that have been nerfed from numerous different angles. So it's a bit sad for me because I kind of wanted to play it at some point. Redemption Sentries, that is, but it is what it is. I'm glad they're finally nerfing the PvP thing though. That thing was roasted. What do you think about Archmage Cremation Necro as a soul stuff one starter? I think it's pretty bad. I think it's like an endgame build you do, to be honest. What if you die with 2 exalts? I don't know. What's the God Gamer morning routine? Wake up, eat a hearty breakfast, plan what you want to do for the day, do it. Oh shit, I don't know. I only have one gym, so. Yeah, you can't even pivot into Bane. It's all the nerfs and stuff. How do you prepare the day before for the race? Generally speaking, I do most of my practicing before the day before, you know? Like I said, it's like studying for exam. You know, you prepare for the league well in advance, rather than just practicing it all the night before. Do you think we're gonna see another situation like aura stacking, but with the new curse/doom mechanics? I mean, there will always be new mechanics that are like aura stacking, maybe not to the same degree of broken as aura stacking was, but you know, still pretty strong. When you want to switch from life to CI, should I get better all gear, like an all gear slots to switch? Carverusco actually has a guide on that on his YouTube. As far as switching over, he goes over what like base types you want for going to CI. What ores would I use? Orb storm such lightning ones. Herald of Thunder and Scooter Bots? Yep, exactly that. Although poison BV, sort of toxic reminder until BA, switch poison BV? Yep, pretty much. Some people said you switch at like 38 and you do it after like normal lab and unleash, so you can do whatever you want though. I'm out of water and I've hit like the 2.5 hour mark. Alright, final questions. Go now, rapid fire. I'll answer for a few more questions, a few more, but after that, it's over. Don't you get it? Who did we host? I hosted a Steel last night. We could do that again though. I like Steel Mage. That's probably where I'm going after this. That was my favorite food prep for the weekend lunch. Chicken breast and rice. I like chicken and broccoli as well. Like chicken broccoli or like a teriyaki broccoli bowl or something like that. Chinese food. Hopefully like light on the MSG. Thoughts about the glancing blow nerf. Fine if you use a lot of like life and ES unblock. Not fine if you don't have that much. You know what time the league drops? So there's a timer on the website, but you want to be there like 3 hours early, in my opinion. If the new Hex Blast / Doom is fail leveling, could you pivot into ED Contagion? The issue with that is like Aquatus is just strictly worse than playing Trickster. I don't know enough about Aquatus to say what I could confidently what that could confidently pivot into. How to level Armor Brand Marauder for a league start? Up to level 28. Probably like Holy Flame Totem, Purifying Flame, something like that. Last are good for leveling? No, it's awful because you have no bleed explosions and you have no bleed nodes. That's why I recommend going Blades from Glad instead to level, and then you switch in like Merklev or something. Alright. Shield or Bow AD? Bow AD if you're softcore and pushing in game. Otherwise, Shield. Thoughts about Replica Iron Commander Strike Second Impale Champion? No thoughts about that. Think about Self-Cast Discharge? I think it's like something used on bosses, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna raid Steel Mage. Thank you everybody for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you have a wonderful league start. Sorry if I'm unable to help you out with anything else. Hopefully you played some music or something and didn't just listen to my voice in quiet the whole time. But, yep. Bye everyone. Bye. Good luck on league start.